Here comes Hamlin up the outside. Crash into the wall.
Trouble on the front stretch. Car smoking.
A huge moment for Alex Bowman's career.
Second win of the season for Joey Logano.
It got dark for a time. Silent. Monotonous. Uneasy.
Said I'm pulling down the shades for the long ride.
After 7 agonizing weeks, NASCAR returns.
For that noise right there, we've been waiting for 10 weeks.
NASCAR is back.
It was you, NASCAR. You brought us back, energized us, inspired us, and showed us that as long as we kept turning left, we'd start to feel all right.
Hell yeah, boys! Woo! Great job! Oh my goodness, thank you guys. Awesome job, dude. Quick job, 400.
Life, like racing, is about teamwork and family, achievement and support. But above all, it's about making every single moment count. Every pass, every lap, every laugh, every hug. You reminded us that we aren't just living, we are alive.
Thank you, the fans who come along on this incredible ride every single week with us. Hi, everyone. Welcome to NASCAR Race Up, presented by Coca-Cola. And no, it's not the end of the NASCAR season, but today is Fox Sports' last points race. So we just wanted to take a second to reflect on the incredible journey it's been in 2020. I'm Shannon Spake, here with my friends Jamie McMurray and, of course, America's crew chief, Larry McReynolds. Jamie, we just watched the highlights. It seems like it's been forever since we were at the Daytona 500 in February.
Yeah.
So much has happened.
A lot has changed, and I think about when we go through the season, we were able to do a lot of different things that we wouldn't normally have done. We did doubleheader weekends. We had no practice, no qualifying. We had Wednesday night races. A lot of things, you know, that we wanted to try that maybe you were scared to or just didn't want to do. But we've been able to implement those. And I think back to 2009 when we tried double file restarts at the All-Star race, and all of a sudden that's become the norm, and we've implemented that. So I think we'll see some of that next year.
And that's the amazing thing, is the racing that we've had, especially when you look at the last 12 races, that we've done it without a single lap of practice that's been turned. But we've had 8 different winners. But the thing I'm watching, we have 8 champions that are still active in the Cup Series. Only 4 of those champions have won this year. Think about Kentucky, 9 races. Champions have won all 9 of those races. So that's a pretty good indicator, I think, for today.
A McNugget right off the top of the show. We love it. And we will be here for the All-Star race, of course, this week, and Race Hub during the week, so we're not going anywhere. And either is this guy, Jimmy Johnson. He's back. The big news this week, Jimmy was cleared by doctors in NASCAR to race after missing Indy last Sunday. He tested positive for COVID-19, but after 2 negative tests on Monday and Tuesday, he's good to go. We're going to hear from Jimmy shortly in the show, but first, let's break down today's race. Take a look. It's the 10th Cup race at Kentucky. Just the second run on a Sunday. The other was for a rain delay. We've got 267 laps or 400 miles. And of course, it was Kurt Busch who took the checkered flag last year. Larry, I just mentioned not the first time that we're racing at Kentucky, but this is going to look a lot different and feel different for the teams. Why?
Well, it is, because we don't have a lot of pages in the notebook. It's a daytime race. We've only run 1 daytime race there, and that was back in 2013. The track is different. The rules are different. A lot of things are different. And then Goodyear comes along, and they've brought a different tire combination than we've ran there last year. In fact, it's the same combination we ran at Vegas. So, again, they'll be putting pages in that notebook all day long today.
You'll be busy as well. On the conference call this week, Jamie, you guys discussed turn 3 for 15 straight minutes. Said it was one of the toughest in NASCAR. Why is that such a focus?
Well, I just remember running from the first truck race there to running the first Xfinity race and all the testing that I did there in the Cup cars before we raced there. Turn 3, there were more wrecks than I think any other corner in the NASCAR series. And it, like I say, not in the race. It could be in practice. You'd see guys get caught up there. And the thing is, turns 1 and 2 have a lot of banking banking. But when you get to turns 3, it's flat. And you said this, Larry, you get kind of sucked into it because your car feels so good in 1 and 2 that when you get to 3, you think you can drive in a little bit deeper. And the reason it's so important to run, aggressive line in turn 3 is because that's where the lap time is made up at Kentucky. Everybody's pretty close in 1 and 2, but turns 3 and 4, that's where the lap time is.
All right, I'm going to let you pull out your handy-dandy track map, right, and show us exactly what he's talking. Handy-dandy. Here it is. We love it when we get to play with our tools here in the studio. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a very unique 1.5-mile tracks. Turns 1 and 2, 50 feet wide, fair amount of banking, 17 degrees of banking. But this is what Jamie was talking about. A lot wider turns 3 and 4, 17 feet wider, but 3 degrees less banking. And I hear drivers all the time go, my car had good grip in 1 and 2. When I get to 3 and 4, I had no grip. And then traction compound is in the second and third groove at both ends, not in the bottom. And I think that's what leads to a lot of wrecks. Cars just lose grip in that bottom groove and gets into a car on the outside.
3 degrees doesn't seem much to me, but it's a lot.
It's huge inside the car.
Yeah.
I mean, 1 and 2 feels like Daytona, and 3 and 4 feels like Martinsville. And I don't know why. Like when I read about how much banking there was there, I almost thought it was wrong what I was reading. But that's what it is. But it feels way different inside the car.
And we've seen a lot of chaos there over the last couple nights, right, in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, and I think part of that has been because, we didn't get to have practice, and so they put the traction compound down. And we saw in the Xfinity Series race how dirty the track was. They tried to fix that up for the next night, but it still just isn't the same as having cars on it.
All right, well, we'll see how it goes out there. We've talked about, last year's Kentucky winner Kurt Busch is not the only competitor in the family. Yeah, we know about Kyle, but what about his wife Ashley? We're going to go one-on-one with Kurt and Ashley to find out who has more horsepower, and Jimmy's back. The 7-time champ chats with us about his return to the track and what it was like to be sidelined last week after testing positive for COVID-19. Race Hub will be right back. In 19 seasons, 83 wins, and 7 championships, Jimmie Johnson had never missed a race. That is until last weekend. But he is back today, and our Jamie Little had a chance to chat with him about his return.
Well, Jimmie, it's so good to see you, and most notably to know that you're at the racetrack. We get to see you back behind the wheel. But let's go back to a week ago. We're at the racetrack, everything's good. Jimmie Johnson's coming, it's his last Brickyard 400, and then boom, the news comes that you test positive for COVID. Tell me about that whole emotion from then until Monday when you find out, okay, I'm negative.
Yeah, it's been a challenge to say the least. I mean, first and foremost, my family's safety and my safety was our top concern. And then as time went on and being asymptomatic for myself and for Shani, it really started to make things more difficult for us. But again, thankful for our health. And then once I was able to start testing, I had my first negative. That then brought some anger and then also optimism. And then my second negative, I really finally started clearing the hurdle then on Tuesday and knew that I was going to be back at the racetrack and just started getting really excited for this weekend's race.
All these emotions that you had to go through in the course of a few days, but in the middle of all that, you actually had to sit home and watch for the first time in your career, your 48 car out there with another driver in it. What was that feeling like, seeing Justin Allgaier out there?
By the time the race started, I had gone through my emotional journey, if you will. I'd say Saturday night and Sunday morning were really, really tough for me. And ironically, the team call that we do before every race, it's usually a meeting in the truck. I joined that team call, heard Cliff's voice, heard the guys talk. I said a few words, Justin spoke. That kind of released me in a weird way to watch, because prior to that, I was convinced I wasn't going to watch the race. And then I decided to tune in and watch my race car on track.
And obviously it was a shortened day, so it was hard for your whole team all around. But watching Jimmie, did that ignite anything in you, maybe set that fire a little bit more to know, like, that's my team and I still have a lot of races to go?
Yeah, it's really cemented my love of competition, and having something taken away from you without your control, or you deciding, or maybe consent, if you will, like that, I want to step away. Having something taken from you out of your control really was a new and unique situation for me, and just put a deeper respect that I have for this industry, for my job, and my group of guys that I work with.
Well, Jimmy, it's great to see you back. I'm glad that you've never had the symptoms, that you're still feeling great. You were riding your dirt bike yesterday in Aspen. So good luck today. We're really excited to see you back behind the wheel of the 48.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be back, and thank you, everybody, for your support.
So first and foremost, we are so happy that Jimmy Johnson is back and healthy. But really, Jamie, when you look at it from a professional standpoint, missing one race, best case scenario.
Yeah, and he's in a pretty good position because if you guys think back to the Coke 600, he ran second. There's also 3 stages in the Coke 600, not 2. He scored points in all 3 stages, so he had 50 points but failed post-race inspection, lost 50 points, only got 1. And if you add those 50 points to where Jimmy Johnson is right now, even after missing a race, he's 12th. And when I look at this point of the season, points where you are is kind of where you are. You're not going to see somebody go from 20th up to 8th or 8th back to 20th. So Jimmy Johnson's is in a good position. But what he can't have happen is he can't have a guy like Matt Kenseth, who's out of the top 16, win a race, or Ricky Stenhouse when we get to Daytona. We know that he's been really good there. So he's in a pretty good shape, though.
Yeah, they have to feel very fortunate that they're above the cut line, considering all the things you just mentioned, Jamie. But I still think there's a lot of work to do over there, because if you look at the season so far, 2 top 5s, 6 top 10s. If the playoffs started today, yeah, they would be in, but I just don't think they would bear a lot of fruit. And Kentucky has not been kind to him. It's one of the tracks he's not won, and he only has 1 top 5 and 9 starts there.
I want to ask you about the last 4 weeks of the regular season. We've got the road course at Daytona, the back-to-back doubleheader at Dover. Some might look at that and say, oh my goodness, what a stretch. But that kind of sets up perfectly for Jimmy.
Well, it does, but I'm sure they hope before they get to that point that they've got that win, and they don't have to worry about that. But, you know, just like Jimmy has a lot of laps on that road course down at Daytona.
Exactly, and he's okay at Dover. I mean,
he's pretty good at Dover,
okay.
yeah.
Numbers are pretty good.
Kind of okay. We've got much more Hub coming up after the break. You don't want to miss Kurt and Ashley Busch up close and personal about what it's like to have 2 racers in the family. That's next.
Here they come for the win. The Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch show.
Stay away. Keep coming. You got him.
It's a dead heat on turn 4.
It's a family affair here in Kentucky. Kurt Busch and Kyle Busch get together. Kurt Busch will come on and win.
That's how you do it, man. Woo!
All right, so we all know Kurt Busch is from a competitive family. After all, he races with brother Kyle every weekend. But what about Kurt's wife, Ashley? Well, she's a professional polo player who knows a thing or two about winning. Caitlin Vincey caught up with Kurt and Ashley Busch for a little rapid-fire Q&A.
Which sport is more dangerous?
Polo.
I will have to say, just because I don't have a roll cage or anything protecting me except for a helmet and some tall boots and some knee guards, and that's it.
Which one has better uniforms? Ashley, I know you touched on some of the things you wear, but yeah, which one's better uniform, or the fire suit?
I like the fire suit just because I feel like it's like a Superman suit.
Which is more predictable, the handling of a car or the handling of a horse?
Ooh, yeah.
Depends on the weekend for Kurt, but some of my best ponies, they each have their own personality. So one day they could be my best horse in a game, and the next day they're jumping over little spots in the grass.
Tailgating's a big part of both experiences for these sports. I would say both tailgates are very different. So who has the better one?
NASCAR has keg stands, and Polo's gonna have champagne toasts, right?
Yeah, but I heard you like the truffle popcorn, which is typically served at the Polo tailgates. Is that true, Kurt?
Oh, yeah, I overserved myself on the truffle popcorn.
The final question, and maybe the most important one, which Busch wins more?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at it. Every day you wake up, you're a winner.
Or maybe that means you're the winner, honestly. You're waking up next turn. You're both winning, and not many people can say that, so congratulations to you both. I appreciate your time so much, and Kurt, we look forward to seeing what you do on the race car, not the horse, at Kentucky Speedway.
Yes, thank you. Keep me off the horse, but thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good stuff. And Jamie, I think it's safe to say that we expect Kurt to win a race, at least one race every single year, because that is the standard that he's set.
Don't know about that truffled popcorn, Shan.
No, you don't like it? I love truffles. Oh, my gosh.
But I am with you. I mean, you look back, he's won a race in the last 18 years, all but 2 years. So we do expect him to win a race. But the one car's kind of had an up and down year. They had a lot of luck at the beginning of the year. You think back to Bristol, they got involved in that wreck, and you're like, well, their day's done. They came back to finish 7th that day. So they had some luck on their side. The past 3 races, though, not so lucky. You think back to Indy, they ran great the first stage, and they had the issue in the pits where the hose got caught underneath the splitter and lost all their track position. So been a little unlucky recently, but this is a good track for Kurt Busch.
Yeah, the last 5 or 6 races, they only have one top 10, and that was at Talladega. But I'm glad you mentioned luck, and I don't want to take anything away from their win a year ago at Kentucky Speedway, but they were very lucky. Matt McCall, his crew chief, had made a call under a green flag stop late in the race when everyone else was changing 2 tires. They went with 4 tires. He was going to run inside the top 5, but as luck would have it, 7 to go, the caution comes out. He restarts on row 2 with a little fresher tires and goes up there and gets the win. So they had racing luck on their side a year ago.
You guys planned that whole luck thing, didn't you? I know you did.
I thought he was going to talk about truffled popcorn.
I did too for a quick second. What about brother Kyle, who's still looking for his first win of the season? Maybe a little luck as well. Take a look at this. Here's Kyle's wins since we started using the current playoff points in 2017. This season, Kyle has not been to victory lane, and he still hasn't scored any stage points. That's a big deal, right? As a much different season than what it's been in past years. All right, Larry, I'm going to ask you the question that we've asked, I don't know, every weekend this season. Is this the night Kyle Busch wins a race?
I am getting off that bandwagon. Yeah, he has owned Kentucky Speedway. With the exception of the win column, he leads every column imaginable there. But every week we've been saying, this is going to tell us where Kyle Busch and that group's at. Now I'm going to have to see it before I get back on this bandwagon. But if you look at after 16 races the last 2 years, at this point of the season, he had already won 4 races. And to your point about the stage points, he had 25 playoff points. He has 0 right now, and that's going to hurt him when he gets to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, the stage points are a big deal. I'm not as worried about Kyle Busch right now. You just think about, it's Kyle Busch. The guy's won, over 200 races, 56 Cup wins. And when I look at his year, he's finished in the top 5 7 times. When he doesn't run in the top 5, he's had like this disastrous race. But you think about Martinsville, a lot of guys had disastrous races there. He got wrecked by Ryan Blaney at Pocono, got caught up in a wreck at Talladega. I'm not as worried about it because his teammate is running well, the organization's running well. I know this team can turn it around. But when I look at, I keep having buts. Have you guys got on this?
There's a lot there.
But when I look at the Joe Gibbs's organization, I know his season is almost what Denny Hamlin had in 2018. Denny Hamlin had no wins, but you know who had 8 wins in 2018? Kyle Busch.
You didn't mention luck. But he did get lucky he got the pole this time, right?
Ifs and buts were candy and nuts. Oh, what a Merry Christmas. I'm off the bandwagon. He's guiding the bandwagon.
We're going to save this clip for tomorrow on Race Hub when he wins the race, and we'll pull it back. Speaking of Kyle, he's our focus of our Xfinity fastest lap. Last year at Kentucky Speedway, Kyle ran the fastest lap with a time of 29.615. He led 72 laps, 40 of them the fastest, and finished 2nd in that race after that battle with brother Kurt. Don't forget, all week long, you can catch NASCAR Race Hub, and it is a busy All-Star week on the Hub.
It's a big week on NASCAR Race Hub. Tomorrow, we'll go one-on-one with this weekend's winning drivers. Don't miss out on the best sights and sounds with Radioactive. And Wednesday night, the Cup Series All-Star Race is live from Bristol. Tune in as NASCAR's best race for $1 million. NASCAR Race Hub, weeknights 6 p.m. Eastern, only on FS1.
Oh, we're getting closer to the green flag in Kentucky. Here's a look at your top 5 starters selected by random draw. Kyle Busch, Joey Logano on the front row. We're day racing in the Bluegrass State, and our horses are ready to go.
Welcome back to Race Hub. And we're ready to bring you the action from Kentucky at the bottom of the hour. And the big story of this track this weekend Jeff, is the traction compound, where it is, and how much effect it will have in a day race.
Yeah, typically, Mike, when you lay down the traction compound, you're going to try to work in an upper groove to have a lower groove and a high groove. Well, they put the traction compound basically right in the preferred lane, and we've seen some treacherous conditions already in the racing we've seen leading up to this Cup race here today in the Xfinity, in the truck race, where a lot of cars have lost control down in that lower groove with so little grip. When you're not in the traction compound. I think also this track is very unique, turn 3, very flat, and I think we're going to see a lot of action over there.
Last year's finish was one for the ages between the Busch brothers battling it out. How much pressure on Kyle Busch coming into Kentucky?
A lot. He's starting from the front row. He's going to be our pole sitter today. There's only one way to go, Mike, and that's backwards for Kyle Busch. I think a lot of pressure for this team to get that win, get 2020 going, and do it from that pole position here today in Kentucky.
All right, ready to go at the bottom of the hour. NASCAR Cup racing live from Kentucky Speedway. We'll see you then.
Thanks so much, Mike. See you in a few minutes. But first, fans at home, do not forget you can win money today playing Fox Bet Super 6. Just download the app to play for free. And if you correctly pick the finishes of these 6 drivers, you could win up to $120,000. That's a lot of money. This is the last time the big jackpot is up for grabs, so make sure you log on and play. All right, maybe our picks are in that group right there. It is time now for our race picks, so let's go.
All right, so my guy will start 11th, and his wheelhouse has been mile-and-a-half tracks. We've run 5 races at mile-and-a-half tracks, and Ryan Blaney has a 4.8 average finish. In fact, the last 4, he has finished inside the top 5. That's my man, Ryan Blaney.
You're going Blaney, huh?
Shannon, I know nothing about candy and nuts. But what I do know is that I am still on the Kyle Busch bandwagon. And Larry said it earlier, he's got the best stats of this track. He gets to start first. Most top 10s, most top 5s, most laps led, everything. I think tonight he's going to get his first win.
You guys are on Race Hub together tomorrow?
We are.
Oh, that could be a fun little segment. I am going to pick the closer, Kevin Harvick. I know he has not won at Kentucky, and I know that his stats are not great there in past seasons, but I say he's going to break through.
Hey, the Harvick family already has a win. Yesterday at the go-kart track, Keelan was able to get his first karting win. It was a really cool moment. I saw that podium shot of them at GoPro Motorplex. That was cool.
Congratulations to Keelan and, of course, to Delana, the proud mama. You guys enjoy the race today out at Kentucky. Thanks for being here all season, right? As we get ready for our last points race on Fox. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy the race.
The relationship between man and his vehicle is complex. An extension of oneself, where personality is performance, maintenance is obsession, and the only love you get back is the love you put in. Now this bond is best explored in open spaces, but sometimes you need to head to the sticks, bluegrass country.
Things are getting wild, it's getting crazy, it's hard into the wall.
To test this thing out on more rugged terrain. Are they happy together? Let's ask after the race. Kentucky is next on FS1.
Fox NASCAR welcomes you to Kentucky Speedway, where today on this mile-and-a-half oval, we're going to race 400 miles. As we approach the halfway point of the 2020 season, we're taking it to the Bluegrass State. By the numbers so far, 16 races, 8 different winners. But 2 drivers account for half those wins, with driver number 4 getting his 4th win last week at the Brickyard. What to look for in race 17? The number 2 has 3 checkered flags at Kentucky, but number 19 has captured 2 of the last 3. Driver 48 is back at action, seeking 84. In 2019 Kentucky race, the one finished, well, number 1. But last year's number 2 starts number 1 today. So throw into the equation that the 18 has 2 wins and 8 top 10s at this place. Talk about a winning formula.
Now, I was good at math, but that's a lot of numbers. Hi, everybody. Mike Joy, ready to bring you this race from Kentucky. We're going to have some fun because they've already been at it, both in the Xfinity and the Truck Series this weekend. Jeff Burton, lap 1 on Thursday, going for a spin and a crash. Here's Noah Gragson and Harrison Burton on Friday. That led to words, to shoves, to punches thrown, and a battle royale. Now, I don't think we're going to see that today, especially not here, where Hall of Famer Jeff Gordon and I are seated very far apart in the Steve Burns studio in Charlotte. But wow, what action already on this mile and a half.
Yeah, there has been, Mike, and it's all about this traction compound. That's the formula I want to know, because there's a lot of grip when you're in that traction compound, but inside of that or outside of that, there is no grip, and that's what's led to all this action on track and off track, and we're going to see a lot more of that, especially in that flat turn 3 area at Kentucky.
We're going to go trackside and join Jamie Little with Coca-Cola Racing family driver Joey Logano.
And his new crew chief, Paul Wolf, kicked off the season with 2 wins in the first 4 races. But since we've returned to racing, it hasn't been the same, Joe. You guys have had 1 top 5. And I talked to Paul this morning, and he said no practice has definitely hindered you guys. In what areas is it a challenge to just show up with a new crew chief and race?
Well, there's so many different challenges that come up. But, you know, obviously everybody could use some practice at this point. Us probably more than some. You know, it's just trying to find a direction on which way you want to go with things. Different schools of thought that we both have come from, you know, last year, and it's just trying to find out, okay, is this best for this type of track or that track, and just trying to find the adjustments that I key off of. So, you know, it's been a little bit of an up and down road. The 550s has been a little bit of a challenge for us, but I feel confident today that, you know, we're trying some different things again, trying to find the road that works best for the Shell Pennzoil Mustang, and we're going to hit on it. We just got to keep trying different things and keep our heads up, and, you know, starting up front helps, and hopefully we're able to, you know, keep ourselves towards the front. That seems to be the biggest thing right now, is just trying to keep that clean air. It's a big deal. So hopefully we can stay up towards the front, put ourselves in position like last year to almost win this thing.
All right. Thanks, Joey.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jamie. Jimmy Johnson is back on the road after having to miss Indianapolis. He is here and ready to race. And in fact, that road, the one to the infield tunnel, is now named for him. It is Jimmy Johnson Boulevard. With today's invocation, please welcome NASCAR Hall of Famer and Kentucky native Darrell Waltrip and his wife Stevie.
Stevie's going to read a scripture from the Bible.
This is from 2 Chronicles 7:12. The Lord appeared to Solomon at night and said, when I shut up the heavens so that there is no rain, or command locusts to devour the land, or send a plague among my people, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and I will heal their land.
Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, these are unusual times we're living in, with so much certainty in our world. But Father, with you, we always have hope. Our hope is strong, and we hope that there are better days ahead. Our faith is strong, and you tell us there are 3 things that we need in our life: hope, faith, and love. And the greatest of these is love. And Father, we have to respect each other. Respect begets respect. So help us to care about each other, to take care of each other, to watch out for each other. And Father, I pray for my good friend Charlie Daniels, and I pray for his family, and may he rest in peace. He was a great man, and he'll be missed by so many. And Father, I pray for the race tonight, that it's an exciting race, a fun race. I pray for the drivers to protect them, watch over them, the officials as they watch over the race. The people are at the track to help put the event on. I pray for each and every one of them. Lord, I pray for their families. I pray you protect all of us from the virus. Be with those that are sick, help them get through this and be with those that are strong and help us to avoid anything in the future. Lord, we love you. We praise you. We thank you. Lord, you saved your amazing grace, saved a wretch like me. And for that, I'm ever grateful. I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
He is one of Rolling Stone magazine's 100 greatest guitarists of all time. Here is 4-time Grammy-nominated pedal steel guitarist Robert Randolph with our national anthem. We're ready to race in the Bluegrass State for NASCAR's annual trip to Kentucky, live on FS1. They know all about racing in Kentucky and all about horsepower, usually one horse at a time. Here's a Kentucky-style look back at last year's race.
And there's Kyle Busch running the number 18 car, trained out of the Joe Gibbs Racing stable. Always a threat to win. Next to him in the gate is his brother Kurt Busch riding the number 1 car, trained by the great Chip Ganassi Racing. And they're off and running in the 9th Kentucky Speedway Derby. Kyle Busch fast out of the gate as he takes the lead. But did he push too soon? Whoa, there goes Kurt Busch to the outside lane. He's got a head full of steam. Look at that car run. Side by side they go. Kyle takes the lead. Kurt takes it right back. Oh, look at these two thoroughbreds race. And down the stretch they come. Kyle slides. Can Kurt hold on? And it's Kurt Busch by 1 length. Oh, what a race. Woo-hoo!
Well, if you like that, show up at the betting window, because today you could win $120,000 and you can play for free. That's right, it's Fox Bet Super 6. Download the app, play for free before the race starts. Just pick the finishes of 6 drivers. You could win up to $120,000, and this is the last time I'm going to tell you about this big jackpot, because it's the last time it's up for grabs this season. So, Jeff, help them out and give them some ones to watch.
That's what I was going to say. I got 3 on my list that you need to have in your lineup if you want that $120,000, starting with our pole sitter. Kyle Busch leads all drivers at Kentucky. Top 5s, top 10s, laps led, average finish, almost every category with 2 wins here at Kentucky. If there's any track Kyle Busch can turn his season around, it's here in Kentucky. Eric Almirola having a rock-solid 2020 season. Top 5s in the last 5 races. Best streak of his career. And how about last year's winner in Kentucky, Kurt Busch, with that wild battle in the final lap with his brother Kyle, claiming his only victory in 2019. Watch to see if Kurt can get another win here today.
Now, Cincinnati's just up the road, where baseball returns with MLB on Fox coverage July 25th. And today is Grand Marshal, 6-time Major League All-Star and former NL MVP, Reds first baseman Joey Votto.
I'm Joey Votto of the Cincinnati Reds. Reds baseball's coming back. Major League Baseball's coming back July 23rd, 24th. But now it's time to race. Drivers, start your engines.
I'd rather have Debbie Mallett every time.
Engines are fired. Oh, let's go racing in Kentucky. It's post time.
Wednesday.
You want $1 million tonight? You're going to have to earn it.
On FS1, with $1 million to the winner. NASCAR's All-Star Race brings out the best from the biggest stars. Now, for the first time ever, the All-Stars take on the short track at Bristol. The NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Race, live from Bristol, Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
We are ready to race for 400 miles. Line them up, let them rip.
Ready, 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 ready. Green.
It's time to go.
It's about to get wild. Big, high, puffy clouds. Whoa. Oh, I get dizzy every time he does that, Artie. 80 degrees. Look how humid it is. 72%. Light breeze out of the northwest. Forecast is for no rain. We'll have a look at the starting lineup across the bottom of your screen. Again, a draw for starting positions among the top 12 in points, 13 to 24, and then 25 to 36.
Come on, let me ring your bell.
Kevin Harvick, 4 wins on this season, but look at that go-kart out in front at GoPro Motorplex in Mooresville, North Carolina. That's Keelan, and that is Keelan's very first racing victory. There's got to be a proud papa, Jeff, in car number 4.
And let's dial him up and ask him about it. Hey, Kevin Harvick, Jeff and Mike at the Fox Sports Studios. You got us?
4.
Hey, man, you've been racking up some wins and putting some trophies in the case lately, but I want to ask you about the recent winner in the family, Keelan, winning that first go-kart race. Tell us what that was like.
Yeah, you know, Jeff, as you know, seeing your kids succeed is something that you really can't put a price on, and being able to actually be there and witness it with our whole family was something that was pretty special. So a lot of cool trophies, but you know, that little go-kart trophy, and seeing his smile on the face and being with him every step of the way of everything that he's done is pretty special. So a lot of pressure today. With him winning yesterday, he put a lot of pressure on me this morning before I left.
Yeah, that's so cool, and it does put some pressure on. So what do you got to do to get a clean sweep for the Harvick family this weekend, and what's it going to take here today in Kentucky?
I think today you're just going to have to survive here a little bit, see what the racetrack brings, and then, you know, start working on your car and try to keep track position all day. So a lot of things to wrestle with today, you know, as to what's right and wrong. But hopefully our Hunt Brothers piece of Ford Mustangs handle it good, and we can have a great race.
All right, well, good luck. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, Jeff.
That's Kevin Harvick. Let's check with our crew chief, Larry McReynolds. Larry, we have very little experience racing Cup cars here in the daytime. So what are you looking for?
Yeah, Mike, there are not many pages in the notebook for these type of conditions because we've only had one daytime race here, and that was back in 2013. The only thing that's about the same is it's still in the state of Kentucky. But I will say one thing. In a day race, pretty much the track stays constant. Very little change. But Jeff talked about the traction compound. That is an unknown because I think it will change, especially in the closing stage of this race. With that said, let's take a look at our race analysis. We're going to go 267 laps for 400 miles. The stages are 80, 107 to the checkered flag. Pit road speed 45 miles per hour. Fuel window 62 to 66 laps. And Mike, a competition caution at lap 25. Remember, you can't fuel the car until that caution.
Thanks, Larry. Last week, a harrowing incident for Ryan Blaney's pit crew on pit road. A multi-car jam up at the head end of pit road. There's Brennan Poole coming very close there as Wade Moore leapt onto the roof. Zach Price, the tire changer, was caught between the two cars and, although injured, hustled over to the pit wall and out of the way. Jamie Little has an update.
And Zach Price did suffer a lower leg fracture. Good news is it doesn't require surgery, but he will be out for the foreseeable future. Filling in for him starting this week is Curtis Thompson. Curtis Thompson to my right, he is a 16-year veteran on pit road. Recently, he's been on LaJoie's team, and he's a member of the Penske development team, and that's why they were able to bring him up to this 12 team. Curtis just told me he was able to practice with these guys 3 days this week and is very confident and was very loved how good, and he's given us a thumbs up, said how great these guys are, Mike, and he just loves the opportunity. It's rough circumstances, but he hopes to step up and do his best here moving forward.
Thanks, Jamie. Mentioned earlier, Jimmy Johnson is back. There's the number 48. He was out for COVID-19, but had 2 negative tests this week and eligible to return. We listened into him and his team.
All right, folks, good afternoon from Kentucky. I want to start out by saying it is fantastic to have our pilot back behind the wheel. JJ, we're glad to have you back, man. Fans, thanks for your continued support from home. 48 guys, we're going to go get them today and for the whole rest of the year. Eyes forward, boys. Let's go.
Cliff Daniels there, crew chief for Jimmy Johnson. Excited to have that 7-time champ back behind the wheel. And unfortunate set of circumstances, and now here he is back behind the wheel.
Out in front of the 38 car field is the all-new TRD Camry pacing the race. Kyle Busch, Joey Logano on the front row. 2 cars had to drop to the back for inspection issues. Martin Truex, who's won 2 of the last 3 here at Kentucky, and Matt Kenseth, the driver who won the one and only daytime cup race at Kentucky, will start out back.
Mike, a lot of anxiousness right now. If you're those drivers, you've been watching the Xfinity truck races and seen crashes in the first turn, not knowing what kind of grip you're going to have through these first couple of corners in that first lap.
Pace cars in. They address themselves to the start line. Kyle Busch has elected the outside. He is the control car. So Logano cannot beat him to the start line on the initial start of the race. And we're off in Kentucky.
With a big moment going into turn 3. That's that flat section of this racetrack that makes Kentucky Speedway so unique compared to other mile-and-a-half tracks. Already 3 wide as we're starting lap 2. With that lack of grip and that inside lane hasn't scared off Joey Logano. He's still battling down there in that very bottom lane, trying to get by Eric Almirola. Now his teammate Brad Keselowski coming to the outside.
Now you see the traction compound, there it is down in the corners, and there they have added a strip of it in the middle of 1 and 2 and in the middle of 3 and 4 to aid the low groove.
Well, so far I'd say it's helped, Mike. We'll have to wait and see what happens to that traction compound throughout this race. Kevin Harvick looks like he started off this race very loose. Not a lot of grip in the rear. Matt DiBenedetto is going to go to the inside, possibly take that position away. And yes, he does. You can see even Kevin Harvick in the main area of that traction compound, Mike, where we've seen all the grip so far this weekend's racing. Even Kevin Harvick's in that groove still didn't have enough grip to hold off DiBenedetto.
You've got to imagine Rodney Childers is on the radio telling Kevin it'll come to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Be patient, be patient. And you know what? The way Kevin Harvick's season has gone, there's a very good chance it will come back to him. And here's another guy that's got to be happy to show up at Kentucky. 3 wins under his belt. Brad Keselowski loves this racetrack. And right now, he's got to be loving his race car. He's right on top of these 2 in front of him.
Keselowski started 6th. Jimmy Johnson in 15th. And here's Ryan Blaney testing out that bottom groove.
He's going to get that right front fender right to the left rear quarter panel. Jimmy Johnson trying to pull him back. Just not quite there yet. You can hear how much out of the throttle Ryan Blaney is as he's outside of that traction compound. That's going to open up the door for Tyler Reddick come to the inside of Blaney.
See how Reddick fares down on the bottom of the racetrack. As at 7th place, Chase Elliott had a look at Kevin Harvick. And nothing there.
Larry McReynolds talked about it in our pre-race about, you know, how few of notes you have from day races here, not to mention as we're trying to possibly going to see a lead change here. Eric Almirola going after our leader Kyle Busch. But you know, you have the traction compound, the grip of this big spoiler and the downforce in these cars, 550 horsepower, day race, so many variables right now that nobody has a clue what this race is going to start like or how it's going to end and progress throughout the race.
You saw Joey Logano send it in there, but didn't have the grip to run all the way through the corner 2 abreast with his teammate Brad Keselowski.
Well, Brad Keselowski's running that very bottom groove. He likes the way his car's handling right on the yellow line. That's going to open up the door possibly for an outside move if Logano can get there, at least down to 1 and 2.
Almirola single file behind Kyle Busch, who will lead the first 9 laps of this race. That is significant because 9 is the number of laps that Kyle has led on all the 1.5-mile tracks so far this year. Just 9 laps and 9 today.
You can see this. Eric Almirola, I didn't think he was going to be able to hold that bottom groove, but he certainly did. He's going to make the pass on Kyle Busch. I thought that 10 car looked really good coming off of turn 4 down the front straightaway. As he closed up on Kyle Busch, I did not think he could hold it, but he did. Nice move from Eric Almirola taking the lead.
So Almirola will lead lap 10 after Kyle Busch was out front for the first 9 circuits. It's 4 ahead of Toyota with Alex Bowman, the first Chevrolet, in 5th. Green flag laps complete in Kentucky. Remember, competition caution coming at lap 25. Here is Joey Logano going to the inside on his Penske teammate Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, Brad went up to use that traction compound, tried to cut down to the bottom lane that he's been using, but Joey Logano was there. Let's see if there's any contact. No, I don't think there's any contact, but he definitely loosened him up.
I think the 2 were being so careful to stay off each other, it allowed Bowman to shoot the gap and jump right in there. Well, we saw some 4 and even 5 wide earlier in the weekend in the Xfinity Series. How about this?
Yeah, you can see they're coming up to pass Joey Gase. That's going to slow down the 2 cars of 17, the 48. Chris Buescher and Jimmy Johnson stalls them out, allows Clint Boyer to go running by, and then there goes Reddick to the outside of Jimmy Johnson.
Joey Logano closing in on Kyle Busch. This is for second place. Now, Denny Hamlin has dropped 8 spots since the green flag. Kevin Harvick is down 3.
You know, Mike, especially with the 550 horsepower underneath the hood and that big spoiler, it's all about momentum. You just can't lose the momentum. So as you're trying to make a pass, and we're seeing a lot of passes happen down in turns 1 and 2, you almost have to regroup. It takes you a lap or 2 to get that momentum back. You got to watch your mirror, make sure you're not going to lose positions trying to make that pass, and you regroup to regain that momentum and try to find another opportunity to make that pass. So it's kind of risky to dive down underneath somebody in the middle of the corner. You see right there, same thing with Kurt Busch. He tried to get right to the rear bumper of the car in front of him, try to maybe loosen them up. I think was that Blaney in front of him, and he had to check up. And when he did, lost all the momentum. That allowed actually Blaney to go by him.
You know, guys, Blaney started in the 9th position. He dropped back a lot at the start of this race. It's almost like they had the air pressure way down on that 12 car. Now he's starting to recover.
Well, boy, one car that's not had any problem going through traffic. This car right here, the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., up 15 positions so far, Jamie.
Yeah, Jeff, and every time we come to Kentucky, all the other crew chiefs are looking at that driver right there, Martin Truex Jr., a 2-time winner here. Again, one of the fastest cars last year, but they failed technical inspection this morning 2 times, so he had to drop from 9th all the way to the back. The car is okay, but Jeff, to your point with this new package on these cars, James Small, his crew chief, told me Martin has had to learn to drive these cars differently at this racetrack.
Yeah, this is a track where both ends of the racetrack are totally different. Like, you've got a lot of banking, a lot of momentum and speed through turns 1 and 2, but you have to get on the brakes in turns 3. It's very flat, and the car really wants to slide the back out on entry, but then lose the nose through the center. Very hard to set the car up perfectly for both ends.
Wow. Now, Alex Bowman has jumped to 4th place, but we listened in.
Yeah, I think the car is pretty good. It's just hard to give feedback on because of how numb it is. Yeah, go for it. We got a lot of guys talking about, feeling numb through the PJ run and, through the green track and all that stuff. You're doing a great job.
Well, also, this is a track. It's very hard to feel the tire that Goodyear brings to this racetrack. It just, the sidewall and the hardness of the rubber compound just makes the car slide so easily when you push one end of the race car versus the other. So it's hard to really know, is it balance or just need overall more grip? Right there, you see Austin Dillon fighting the grip on that number 3 car, but they're 3 wide down the front straightaway. Here comes Kurt Busch. Thought he was going to go for 4 wide.
I think he would have if he could have.
Yes.
And Mr. Excitement up on the outside, Ricky Stenhouse.
Well, we've seen, if you go down the apron on this front straightaway, Mike, it's like a ramp. The car will get airborne.
Same tire here as they ran at Las Vegas earlier in the season.
And Mike, the biggest difference from this tire combination to what we ran here at Kentucky last year is the left side is a softer compound, has more grip in the left side tire.
Thanks, Larry. Here's your competition caution after 25 laps completed. Kyle Busch led the first 9. Eric Almirola the last 16. Major League Baseball on Fox returns July 25th. Fox Saturday Baseball is back, and America's home for baseball this summer, as always, is Fox and FS1. Welcome back to our national pastime. While here at Kentucky, 27 laps, working 27, 26 complete.
Now, Mike, we're going to have just under 50 laps to go to the end of stage 1. Watching the times, I know you'd love to put 4 tires on that car, and I think that's what most of the teams will do, but I will not be a bit surprised to see some teams that are fighting for track position that feel good about their car right now. We may see some 2-tire stops right here.
Thanks, Larry. Quinn Houff will get the free pass, one of 4 drivers who got their best career finish last week at Indianapolis. The others were Cole Custer, Garrett Smithley, and Josh Bilicki. Pace car is going to be kind of lonely out there.
Ooh, almost some contact coming to pit road for a few.
Remember last week we had that big crash on pit road, a very narrow pit entry at Indy, and it came during the competition caution. Penske teammates.
So
each
far,
getting 4.
Yeah, going for 4.
Jamie?
Eric Almirola had led 9 laps this season, already led 8 today. Saying he's just a little tight to start, but that car has been a rocket ship early on.
I don't want to get political, but I'm voting for Bacon. Here's your Ram race off pit road. Almirola wins that one. Joey Logano gains a spot. Chase Elliott up 3. Kevin Harvick +2. First caution of the day in Tampa, Florida is Eric Almirola leads in Kentucky. Getting ready to restart. 29 laps complete. Here's today's Ford Performance Track Facts. Ford this season, 9 victories in 16 races, 36 top 5, 68 top 10s, and 7 drivers in a playoff position, leading all manufacturers in all those categories.
Yeah, pretty impressive season so far. Only about halfway through this season, Mike, and they're looking really good here today. 2 Fords on the front row on this restart.
Almirola chooses the outside. He and Logano. Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott.
Logano was really good on the original start. Was able to run side by side with Kyle Busch through turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. See what he can do with Eric Almirola.
You'll listen to Chase Elliott spotter Eddie DeHunt on this restart.
Pace cars on, be ready.
Chase is 4th. Here they come to the Geico restart zone.
20, 10, 5, in.
Boy, really delayed start there. Almost outside of that restart box by Eric Almirola.
Still on the inline.
I think Joey Logano, so close to getting up in front of the 10.
Even. 4. Quarter. Just to 22 now. Quarter. Good, tucked in.
4 wide coming off the corner. Denny Hamlin right in the middle of it.
You can see that time the inside lane didn't work out so well for many of these guys, but Kevin Harvick's kind of stuck in that outside lane. That car's still really loose. See Denny Hamlin, there's the 3 wide. 4 wide here with Reddick, Buescher, Stenhouse. Denny Hamlin thinks I'm gonna wait for another opportunity. I don't want to be in the middle of 4 wide.
5th place battle here. But I get it. If you're going to have 4 wide, you're going to be bookended by Reddick and Stenhouse on one end or the other.
Well, you know neither one of those guys are going to lift in the next corner.
Exactly. Makes it fun to watch. That was Reddick again, way down on the bottom, almost to the apron. As 10th place, Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski battle with Austin Dillon. On that competition yellow, Ty Dillon had a commitment line violation entering the pits, so had to restart tail end.
Well, Keselowski going backwards here. He's on the inside. You see Martin Truex Jr. already ahead of him. Here's the 48, Jimmy Johnson, going to the outside. He'll have to duck back in line.
That'll put him back to 14th after restarting 8th. Keselowski.
I mean, these restarts are going to be wild and crazy all day long. We saw the 18 of Kyle Busch. I think he started third. He's all the way back to 10th.
Who could just set the fastest lap of the day? Cole Custer, 179.79 miles per hour. As Custer's gained 5 spots since the restart.
Mike, he's one of our Rookie of the Year candidates. We were talking on our conference call the other day. Our rookies are starting to come to life. We've had 3 different rookies get a top 5 finish in 3 of the last 5 races of this year.
For Custer, it was 5th at Indy last week. Best career finish. 2nd career top 10. And Cole Custer, a prior Xfinity race winner here. There's your rookie standings.
It's quite a rookie class. I mean, Tyler Reddick, 2-time Xfinity champion, John Hunter Nemechek, Christopher Bell, Cole Custer. I mean, these guys are going to be around for a long time, impressing all of us in the Cup Series.
But, you know with me, there's always a but. We've only had 1 Rookie of the Year get a top 15 finish in the first 9 races here at Kentucky. That was Eric Jones back in 2017.
I can attest to how tough this racetrack is, not just as a rookie, even as a veteran. Never got a chance to go to victory lane at this racetrack, Mike, and it's because it is so difficult to get both ends of the racetrack right.
There's a battle for 4th place. Ryan Blaney trying to overtake Kevin Harvick. Jamie?
And Kentucky is just one of 2 tracks that Kevin Harvick has never won at here in the Roval in Charlotte. Right now for Kevin Harvick, the car has just been edgy since the drop of the green flag. They're telling him he's losing the most time between 3 and 4. That's where they're getting him as Ryan Blaney tries to take him on the inside.
Yeah, and what we saw in that first run with the 4-car Kevin Harvick, it started really loose just like it did on this run, but it came to him, Mike. So I think we're going to have to keep an eye on that car and see what it looks like at the end of these runs and towards the end of this race. Because this, the 18, maybe has some debris on his hood. You could see him all over the rear bumper of his teammate, Mark Truex Jr.
Saw the hood flaps coming up when he got right to Truex's bumper there. Now a little space between them
and there goes the 12 of Blaney in turns 3 and 4. Like Jamie mentioned, looks like Blaney was able to get position coming off of turn 4, complete that pass on Kevin Harvick.
You know, Mike and Jeff, Ryan Blaney has been so strong at the 1.5-mile tracks this year. We've run 5 races this year at the 1.5 mile. Average finish 4.8. In fact, 5th of the last 4.
Let's go back and take a look at that pass.
Boy, Blaney quite a ways back going into turn 3. Looks like, oh yeah, Kevin Harvick had a loose moment right there where the car got sideways on him. He had to check up and correct. That goes back to that momentum I talked about, Mike. The 12 of Blaney able to stay in the throttle, hold that momentum. When the Kevin Harvick in the 4 lost his momentum, the 12 goes right on by him. There's your telemetry, into turn 3. You can see how much. No, I'm not seeing any brake, but they're having to get out of the throttle a lot. Right where he got wide open, that's about where he got loose the last time through there when Ryan Blaney went by.
182 miles an hour at the backstretch end. And here on the curving front straightaway, 183.
Yeah, look how much more speed you carry through 1 and 2. A lot more throttle all the way through 1 and 2. You can see maybe losing the front end a little bit off the exit of turn 2. Oh yeah, it's almost 10 miles per hour slower in the middle of 3 and 4 than it is 1 and 2, Mike.
Kyle Busch has backed up a bit from where he restarted, Jamie.
Yeah, not what you'd expect from this 18 team, Mike. He started on pole, has slipped back to 11. He's got his hands full. This is what he had to say on the radio.
When I went off into 3 on the first lap there, it just chattered. If I could never even compress the nose, it just slid forever. Wouldn't get going. Now the overall feel consensus here kind of the same. Like every corner, it's just chattered. The front tires, I got no front grip. Doesn't feel like the tires or the splitters get compression.
Well, you can see the gap underneath that front splitter. Here's the front straightaway, but as it goes in the corner, you can see it bouncing over some of the bumps, but it never seems to get down. See right there, that gap? You want a small gap. because that's what allows the airflow underneath it. But down in 3 and 4, there's not as much compression as he's talking about compressing that splitter, and it looks like that splitter's riding pretty high through turns 3 and 4. And that's just taking away front downforce that he's wanting.
There you see the gap.
It's not. It's pretty common to see it low on the left front and raised up on the right front on the straightaways. But as you go into the corner, you'll see that right front corner will travel, and that should almost seal up to the racetrack through the corners. But this is, again, a tough track to do that with because the speed and the compression 1 and 2 totally different than 3 and 4.
A couple laps ago, Kyle got passed by Martin Truex, who started this race in the back. So Truex is now the highest running JGR Toyota in 10th. Eric Almirola remains on point in his Stewart-Haas Ford ahead of Chase Elliott's Hendrick Camaro.
Wednesday on FS1. With $1 million to the winner.
Wow, that was wild.
The All-Stars take on the short track in Bristol. The NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Race. Live from Bristol. Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
50 laps complete in Kentucky. That's Ryan Blaney, our Advanced Auto Parts cam. He's driving through the corners one-handed, and we'll show you why. Here's what happened just a couple of laps ago. Car jumped out of 4th gear. Blaney grabbed a gear, got going, and then radioed in.
This broke something. Drive shaft or something. Gonna need to get me a bungee cord or something. Copy that.
Well, you can hear Ryan Blaney as he rolled out of the throttle in turns 1 and 2 and went to go back to the throttle. That's when it jumped out of 4th gear. Pretty fortunate, actually, for this 12 team that it didn't happen somewhere else because it could have turned a lot more RPM than it did. Didn't sound like it over-revved the engine that much, so that might save the engine, but they're going to have to figure this out, Mike. That's not going to go away anytime soon.
So here's a couple of champions battling for 11th place. Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Busch. Now, earlier we talked about travel on the splitter and that gap there, and Kyle Busch and what they might do to improve that car. Larry?
Yeah, Mike, one report we did get from Kyle Busch, once the air pressures came up when they made this last pit stop, the car was getting a little bit better. But Jeff Gordon was talking about the right side of that front splitter being up off the racetrack. Well, one thing they can do, you have these ride limiters right there. You can add one, but what I think they would want to do if they do want to make this adjustment is actually pull one of those shims out. That just lets the car travel a little bit more on the right front, and we'll get that splitter down on the racetrack.
And Larry, you know, based on the air pressures coming up, that raises the car up, so you wouldn't think that would actually make the car better, because as the air pressures come up, I just wonder if when the air pressures come up, the grip level on the tire maybe goes up a little bit to where it's optimal and he likes it, or the balance changes for him over that long run.
Well, what's got to come up for Kyle Busch are playoff points. Look at the comparison last year to this for he and his teammate Martin Truex, who pretty much led the league in playoff points last year. You get playoff points by winning races and by winning stages.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, when you think about the dominance of this 18 team, Kyle Busch, our defending champion, what he accomplished, not just last year, but even the year before, hard to believe he's sitting here at this stage of the season 2020 with 0 playoff points. And we've seen where that changes your whole playoffs. I mean, to get from one round to the next, that's what allowed, I think, Kyle Busch to even get to be in that Final Four at Homestead last year, to have a chance at the championship.
So who got all those playoff points in the first half of this season that Kyle Busch didn't? One fellow who got a whole lot of them, his teammate Denny Hamlin. Jamie?
He has his hands full today, Mike. He started up there in 12th. He's back in 27th right now. Remember the last lap last week, they blew a right front the wall. Right now he says he has chatter, and he told his team, I know I've got to go, but he's got his hands full, and he's giving it all he has back there.
Hamlin around Bubba Wallace for 26. Now they're about 26 seconds behind the leader, Eric Almirola, who is running laps in the 30-second range.
It might go back to Denny Hamlin. This is that time when, as a team, you're Joe Gibbs Racing, Kyle Busch starting up front on the pole position. And you go, you know what, this weekend our teammate's been so good. Denny Hamlin, we're going to go with a setup similar to his. And then all of a sudden, Denny Hamlin has a similar issue. So you wonder how close those setups are on those two cars.
And there's a look at Almirola. About 4 seconds back of them on the track. But the race leader, 1 3/4 seconds ahead of Chase Elliott. Now, Ryan Blaney, after getting his car back in 4th gear and getting everything back together, went on to pass Kevin Harvick, and Blaney is now in 5th place. Apparently no ill effects of that car jumping out of gear. And using a bungee cord, Larry, to hold that shifter in 4th. Boy, that's an old short track trick.
Well, it is, Mike, and looking at the data, it turned about 9,300 RPM, but only for about 2 seconds. I know things have changed since my days as a crew chief, but that was part of our race morning checklist, is we had a bungee cord that was already in the car and just hooked it into the side of the seat. That way the driver could just reach down there and put it around the gear shift should he have a problem like what Ryan Blaney just had.
Well, I thought it was interesting, Larry, as we watched Ryan Blaney go through 1 and 2, pretty much one hand and held that shifter in 4th gear all the way through 1 and 2. His car's driving really good. Here he goes again through turns 1 and 2. I mean, barely even getting out of the throttle. I can tell you the vibration that goes through your hand and through your body when you're holding onto that shifter is pretty intense. But down here in 3 and 4, he's not even holding it in 4th gear, so he feels very confident that whatever's going on, it's only in 1 and 2.
You can actually see his thumb, how it vibrates when he puts his glove over on that thing.
3rd place, Matt DiBenedetto moving up.
Mike, I can attest to needing some new dental work after having to hold that car in gear all day long.
And leader, Eric Almirola, is in some pretty heavy traffic. That's John Hunter Nemechek and Corey LaJoie just ahead.
Bubba Wallace.
Going to have to pick his way through here.
Yeah, these guys are going to fight hard for these positions. They want to stay on that lead lap. 17 to go in this stage. They don't want to give up that position. You know, they've got their own race that they're battling with, and it's a long day.
Eric Almirola is going to continue to work his way through traffic as we take you Fox NASCAR side by side.
Wednesday.
You want $1 million tonight? You're going to have to earn it.
On FS1, with $1 million to the winner. NASCAR's All-Star Race brings out the best from the biggest stars. Now, for the first time ever, the All-Stars take on the short track at Bristol. The NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Race, live from Bristol, Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
Frustrated that clean clothes you want to wear always seem to need an iron?
Next time, try Bounce Wrinkle Guard dryer sheets.
Just toss it in the dryer to bounce out wrinkles. We dried these shorts with Bounce Wrinkle Guard and a pair without. The Bounce Wrinkle Guard shorts have fewer wrinkles and static and more softness. It's the world's first mega sheet that does the job of 3 dryer sheets. It also comes in unscented. If you don't love Bounce Wrinkle Guard, we'll give you your money back.
Reliability is everything. So if your network's down, you're down. Verizon knows your customers need to reach you seamlessly. Your team needs to work from different places, across many devices. Plus, you want the security trusted by some of the largest companies in the world. And that's why you trust us, the most reliable network in America.
Sunday dinner has always been special. These days, it's just nice to have something to look forward to. Well, break out the good plates and tell the kids to wash up, because it's Sunday dinner. even if it isn't necessarily Sunday.
We're off to a good start from left bead, but right bead is cutting him off now. Left bead is making a bit of contact. Oh, we've got a double bead going for the inside line. The left bead into first place.
Beautiful. Friday Night SmackDown is all new. You gotta be kidding me! All the action.
And here we go!
All new Friday Night SmackDown, sponsored by Progressive at 8 Eastern on Fox.
I have a party, and everyone's invited, and I am going to keep going until someone drinks some champagne. I am the NASCAR Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series.
68 laps complete. That's Michael McDowell in the yellow car just ahead of Eric Almirola. McDowell 27th. Last car on the lead lap. Almirola maintaining 2.3 seconds on Chase Elliott, the first Chevy. Martin Truex in 10th. 9.5 back is the first Toyota. Fords occupy most of the top 10.
You can see how good Eric Almirola's car is working. Just pulls right up to the rear bumper of the 34 of Michael McDowell. Gets underneath them, goes down in the next corner, completes the pass. That car is on rails right now.
And I would say Ryan Blaney's problems are solved. He just ran the fastest lap of this race, 180.4 miles per hour.
Be curious to see if maybe that, you know, this car was just for Ryan Blaney, just maybe it wasn't all the way engaged in fourth gear after the restart. Is that going to be something that continues? Is he going to have to drive one-handed all day long? Or I think later in the race, when they get 3 and 4 wide on those restarts, he's going to have or want to have both hands on the steering wheel. Riding on board here with Chase Elliott. Running in second place, 8 laps to go in this stage. To Benedetto. Oh, a moment for John Hunter Nemechek gets really loose. He has to work his way up the racetrack. That allows Joey Logano to go to the inside of Matt Benedetto. I was just getting ready to brag on him on what a great run he's having. And here comes Ryan Blaney into the picture.
Yeah, they all had to pedal it when Nemechek had his moment. Jamie?
And I was going there as well, Jeff. Matt Benedetto doing a great job. He started 10th, running 4th right now, about to give that up to Ryan Blaney. But Matt, this is his worst track here. Averages 31st, never even a top 10, but he's never been with the Wood brothers either. Right now, he says his car is pretty good. I think he's the only driver happy with his car.
Well, I can tell you who loves his race car. If Matt Benedetto likes his race car, I know who loves his. Other than that transmission, Ryan Blaney has a rocket ship right now. Now you can see that little darker area that Ryan Blaney just ran on that bottom lane. We see it also down here in 3 and 4 where they put the right sides down there, Mike. That is not traction compound. That's actually an area where the racetrack, I believe, has done some kind of a patchwork. So that's a part of the pavement, maybe a newer layer of pavement on the racetrack in that lower groove.
A little bit of that at each end of the speedway. Ryan Newman now. About to go a lap down here, perhaps. He is 26th. Last car in the lead lap. Next car ahead of him is Denny Hamlin for Eric Almirola.
We've seen this before at this racetrack, Mike, where Kentucky Speedway is one of those tracks where you can hit it and be so good, and you can miss it a long way and be very far off. And that's what we're seeing for a lot of these cars back there, 23rd, 24th on back. Hey, they went to Advance Auto Parts and picked him up a bungee cord.
Quite possibly.
This is where Ryan Newman becomes a kidney stone, harder to pass.
Well, he drifted up the racetrack there in 3 and 4. Listen, I don't know if there's a race car or driver out there that is tough to pass for Eric Almirola right now. That car is just so good.
And Newman gave him plenty of room. Fought with him for a lap and then moved aside. Only 3 to go in the stage. Now look at the gap between Almirola and the next car ahead, because that may be why Newman was so willing to lay over. He could end this stage as the free pass car. That's extremely likely here with just 2 to go in the stage.
Well, besides the fact he couldn't hold back Almirola and the fact that there was a gap, I agree, Mike. Good chance he will be that free pass car.
Boy, 2 of the best ever at Kentucky here, Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski, and they're battling, but it's for 13th place.
The other thing these 2 drivers share is watching their teammates up ahead of them having a little bit better day.
Like Martin Truex, who started out back due to an inspection failure and is now in the top 10.
Well, Ryan Newman's going to come back to try to get back one of those laps.
Well, he's got to, because that car, if that car just ahead is only 1 down, and it's not. It's more than a lap down. That's Garrett Smithley.
It looked like
3 laps back.
Yeah, I think Eric Almirola got held up in traffic a little bit.
As long as he doesn't get to Hamlin, Newman is okay. And he didn't. The stage is over, and Eric Almirola has his 2nd stage win of the season. Eric Almirola voting for bacon and winning stage 1. And we're off in Kentucky. Uneventful first stage, but for the competition caution at lap 25. Otherwise, all green flag racing. Kyle Busch led the first 9 laps, and Eric Almirola, who had never previously led here in Kentucky, has led 73. Pit road's open, where they've not been since lap 27. And here come the lead lap cars. Ryan Newman will get the free pass. There he goes.
See a little servicing. It's pretty hot there in Kentucky. Putting some ice in the window for Joey Logano as the 9 comes into his pit box. Jamie.
And Ryan Blaney works his way down pit road as they count him down in 5th. Car has been really good other than the issue of holding that shifter in place. They're just going to hand him the bungee cord. They'll put it right in the window for Ryan to be able to fix that himself as they jack the left side of the car. Get their work done. A 4-tire stop. He has that bungee cord. We'll see what he can do with it, if that'll help him moving forward.
Logano and DiBenedetto each pick up a spot. Clint Boyer, Martin Truex get 2. Kyle Busch gets 3. Adam Stevens and crew doing a great job there.
Comes that bungee cord and a drink. Mike, what do you say we dial up Eric Almirola?
Sure.
Stage 1 winner. Hey, Eric, this is Jeff and Mike, the Fox Sports Studios. You got us?
Yep, I got you. It's loud and clear, buddy.
Well, you sound like you're in a good mood, and you ought to be, man. That thing is on rails. Look really good out there. Last time you won a stage was at Pocono. You finished 3rd. What do you got to do today to get that win?
The same thing we did in stage 1. Just keep it up front. The boys are on pit road are doing a great job. Booga and all the guys on this field team been doing an incredible job. 5 top 5s in a row. We definitely got momentum on our side. So just got to keep doing the little things right and executing, and the driver's got to do his part. So appreciate you guys, and appreciate everybody in Smithville running this cool Vote for Bacon paint scheme. 10 fans are going to win a lot of free bacon, so go to voteforbacon.com.
All right, well, right now, Bacon's winning the vote, so congrats on that stage win, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, guys.
He's finished top 5 in the last 5 races this season and wins the race off pit road as well. "86 laps complete. Should be green next time by. All right, so they handed Ryan Blaney a bungee cord. Now, you're strapped in that seat with limited peripheral vision. You can't see to your right, and there's not much you can feel. So what can you do?
Well, and that carbon fiber headrest and seat are so constraining. You really just don't have a lot of movement with your arm or body, not to mention you can't see it.
So
the red end is opened up to fit around the shifter there. The other side's not. I don't know where y'all go. Kind of too long. Can't really reach far back. The hook is anything. You double it around something, come back to itself.
Maybe on the next caution.
Yeah, exactly. Right now he's going to have to hold it in that fourth gear and give it another try later.
Brad Keselowski had to pit a second time to tighten lug nuts, so Keselowski goes from 16th to 25th. Ty Dillon speeding. Too fast exiting pit road. Hasn't been a good day for driver number 13, except he and wife Haley announced they are expecting their second child in November. Pace cars in. Here comes the field to the Geico restart zone.
Nice, coming to you. Next to high side here.
It's TJ Majors.
All good.
Joey Logano's spotter.
Yeah, and I'll give Joey a lot of credit. Not from a lack of effort. He's putting it down there in the bottom underneath in that vulnerable position, taking the air off the outside of that car inside of Eric Almirola. Now he's faded back to second as he slid up in front of Chase Elliott. But Matt DiBenedetto, I'll tell you what, those Fords are strong today. 1, 2, 3 right now. Then Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, and here comes Ryan Blaney, one-handed bandit.
Harvick down the inside, 12th, 11th now.
See if they've worked out that loose condition on Kevin Harvick. Early stages of a run, he's very, very loose, especially in traffic.
It came to him, Jeff. He was much better later in that long run, but by then he'd given up a number of positions.
And right now he's stuck in that inside lane as Jimmy Johnson, then Kurt Busch, and those Chevrolets come to the outside. Yeah, this is not a position we've seen Kevin Harvick in. Usually, you know, when he's in the back, they do some kind of pit strategy, 2 tires, something to get him into clean air. Right now, he's just mired in a bunch of dirty air.
Cole Custer charging after his teammate. Custer has picked up 1 spot from the restart.
And one of the things that Rodney Childers and this Ford team have done so well for Kevin Harvick is to give him a car that's trimmed out. The back of that car and that spoiler is out of the air. It's real low on the straightaways and in the corners. And in the way they've gotten away with that is Cole Custer's teammate goes to the inside, possibly going to take that position for 13th. But that is something that works really good, Mike, in clean air. If you can get the mechanical balance worked out, and they have done a great job with that in that 14. But right now, they do not have the clean air to take advantage of that trimmed-out race car.
On the left, the battle for 4th. Elliott, Blaney, and Bowman. On the right, the fight for 13th. Harvick, Custer, and Reddick.
You can see that opened up the door as Cole Custer tries to get to the inside of his teammate Kevin Harvick. Here comes Tyler Reddick on the outside. Let's see if Denny Hamlin's been able to make some significant adjustments. He dives into turn 3. Car looked pretty good right there.
Reddick in that gold number 8 restarted 21st. He's up for 14th now. 7 spots gained and very few laps there.
This car looked really good through the center. Look how much he gained on the 4 Kevin Harvick through the center of the corner. Talking about Tyler Reddick. Now further back, Denny Hamlin, Chris Buescher.
Fourth place.
Chase Elliott's going to tuck in behind Ryan Blaney. Feels like Ryan's got the better car right now. see if we can't watch the line that he's running, what his car's doing. Maybe I need to make some adjustments or wait for my tire pressures to build up if you're Chase Elliott.
Maybe I need a bungee cord to hook onto that bumper of that number 12.
Throw that thing out the window, right?
Come on along. Austin Dillon, Kyle Busch, this is for 10th.
Well, the Busch brothers might be battling here, but not for the position they're going to want to be battling for. 11th and 12th right now.
Jamie?
And Kyle Busch just said he needs to turn better. The car just wants to go straight, and it feels like it's on top of the track. It's just been one issue after another since we started this race for the 18.
This battle's looking similar to a year ago. Kurt Busch slides up in front of the 18.
Oh, yeah. We've seen this movie. But it was for the win 1 year ago. Tyler Reddick wants a part of it as he keeps moving forward in the 8. 96 laps complete in the Quaker State 400 at Kentucky. Eric Almirola just ran the fastest lap of the race.
Coca-Cola and NASCAR. It's a Sunday thing. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
102 laps complete. Let's see how the Coca-Cola family of drivers are faring. Joey Logano, runner-up to Eric Almirola right now. Austin Dillon, Denny Hamlin, Brian Newman, all on the lead lap. Bubba Wallace, the first car, 1 lap down, and Daniel Suarez, 31st. Almirola's lead 2 seconds over Logano. Ford's in the front 4 with DiBenedetto and Blaney. Bowman in 5th. Truex, the first Toyota, in 6th.
Mike, where is Kevin Harvick? There he is, all the way back in 19th position.
Let's show you what happened. He was making a move forward here.
Well, we saw Reddick go to the outside of Kyle Busch. He loses momentum. Look at this big run by the 4 car of Kevin Harvick. He dives down into turn 3, but he gets down underneath the traction compound, not able to complete the pass. Now here comes his teammate Cole Custer to the outside. Big run, Denny Hamlin, Chris Buescher. All 3 of these cars are going to go by Kevin Harvick. And after this happened, 2 more cars, actually 3 more cars, have since passed Kevin Harvick.
I have just 0 grip. The thing we did is terrible. Made it worse. It was bad, now it's just worse. The thing's just loose in the corner now. And it's plowing.
And Kevin Harvick, basically, he's bad into the corner. He's terrible on exit. It hasn't been good since the beginning, but he said it's worse now. And guys, Rodney Childers told me one thing that's kept them from winning here, they've never had a perfect race car, and they definitely have their work cut out for them today.
Well, they've had perfect race cars this year. We've seen that, but clearly not here today in Kentucky.
Plenty of time, though. 162 laps to go. It's going to be a tall order for anybody to catch Eric Almirola, who's now led 97 laps today. Joey Logano 1.5 back. 25 cars back to Ryan Preece on the lead lap. As you look at 8th place, Clint Boyer, Jimmy Johnson. You know, the drivers that have combined for 10 wins this year, and that would be Keselowski, Harvick, and Hamlin, none of them are in the top 14.
Unbelievable. Well, I'm curious to hear from our crew chief, Larry McReynolds. Larry, is there any kind of strategy play now coming into stage 2 here? Is it possible anybody can make it on fuel? And why are they taking 4 tires if we're not seeing much fall off?
Well, I think the reason they took 4 tires, especially on that first caution, the competition caution, a little bit concerned about the wear. We did hear maybe where the left front was showing a little bit of wear. But we went back racing with 73 laps to go, and they had pitted essentially with 77 laps to go on this stage. By my numbers, everybody should be anywhere from around 4 to 6, maybe 8 laps shy. So, but I do think it's not going to be a deal, Jeff, where they break this stage in half. You're going to run it just as far as you possibly can, just simply because these tires are not falling off as much, and you don't want to get trapped by making a short pit and then the caution coming out and burning you.
So the stage is here, 80, 80, and 107 laps for the final stage. I haven't seen much of last year's winner here, Kurt Busch. He's knocking on the door of the top 10, but he does have our Xfinity fastest lap of the race. 180.7 miles per hour. That was about 3 or 4 laps ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe this deep into a run on tires and fuel that you can put that kind of lap time up. But Kurt Busch definitely clearly able to do that. Maybe a little bit of a toe off of a car in front of him and a fast car through the corners.
9th place battle, Austin Dillon, Jimmy Johnson, as they catch Josh Bilicki in the 77 and pull up on Clint Boyer. Heard an interesting theory this week on how to set the field. NASCAR does that with a blind draw. The top 12 in points, then the next 12, then the next 12. What if you use the fastest lap of this race to set the field for the next race?
As long as they're not starting first, I'm fine with that, Mike. I don't want the fastest car starting on the front row. I came from a short track and dirt track background. I like to see cars passing.
Well, I do too, but yeah, that needs more work.
Of course, that's the TV Jeff, not the race car driver Jeff mentioning that.
Alex Bowman closing right up on Ryan Blaney for 4th. And look who's right behind him. Mr. I've won 2 of the last 3 races here, Martin Truex. Complete in stage 2, 155 laps to go in the race here in Kentucky with Eric Almirola in command. Let's take a look at our McDonald's driver profile on Bubba Wallace. 3 top 10s this season so far, tying his career season high. Top 15s in 5 of the last 8. 9th last week at the Brickyard. And no, that is not an antenna ball sticking up from the roof of his Richard Petty Motorsports number 43. Looks like an errant piece of tape or something.
Yeah,
here.
I do believe it's the antenna, but it's like the antenna has caught a piece of debris or rubber or something from the racetrack and is clinging onto that antenna.
Now he's in the free pass position. We have not had a caution flag for any kind of on-track incident today. Should we get one, he would get back up on the lead lap. What is that?
That's just strange.
Eric Almirola. Now, let's look ahead to Wednesday night, which will be our final Fox telecast of the season on FS1. It's the NASCAR All-Star Race. Eric currently is in the Open, the race that precedes the All-Star event, 7 p.m. Eastern on FS1. And Eric has one of 4 ways to transfer into the All-Star event. But there's a 5th way to transfer in. Win. Today. That's right.
And that's going to be a wild one in Bristol, Mike. I'm excited about that All-Star race moving to Bristol, a short track for the first time. And
folks, you're going to see things you've never seen before in the Cup Series in Wednesday night's All-Star race. This is NASCAR's experimental event each year. So tell them about the lights, because I can't do it without giggling.
The lights?
Yeah.
Which part of the lights? Oh, yeah, the underglow. Heck yeah. Well, I mean, I know we're going to be under the lights at Bristol.
Right.
But we're going to have a little extra light. Some glow from underneath these race cars. Ought to be really cool.
Jamie.
You look at Clint Boyer's car, one cure. He's got a couple of dogs on both sides of that race car. One cure works with Colorado State University to try to find a cure for cancer in dogs. They do tremendous work and they support our sport in a big way. But good news for Clint Boyer, guys. I mean, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but they say they're right on their number to make it to the end of the stage.
All right. Another cool thing for Wednesday night. First time in the Cup Series, they have used the choose cone to determine lane choice for restarts. Really looking forward to that. We have an hour special coming up on how the choose cone system works. You'll see that Wednesday night, 7 Eastern on FS1.
All you need to know is when they drop the green, that's cool. That's going to be fun. It's going to be very exciting. All-Star race. Cannot wait. Jimmy Johnson making some moves here. See, coming up to the rear bumper, that 14 to Clint Boyer. Clint Boyer had closed up on Chase Elliott there for a little bit, but now Chase Elliott's pulled back away. I'm impressed with some of these cars putting up some of their fastest laps here late in this run. That tells you a lot about tires. As that fuel load gets lighter, those tires are not falling off, and we're actually seeing some very fast race speeds. So that will really change the strategy, Larry Mack.
Here's Austin Dillon's team talking tires. He's in 10th place.
Think the left front's going to go the whole way without any issue, or do we need to conserve a little extra?
We're going to have to go 20 laps longer on our left this run if we don't take tires than we did last run where we had a small cord. So it's just going to be iffy on tires.
Well, that answers that question about 2 tires versus 4 tires. Goodyear, as Larry McReynolds mentioned, brought a softer left side tire, give it a little more grip. The speeds aren't falling off, Mike, but it is wearing that left side tire out. So I think that we're reaching about the limits on that left side tire of what it can go to and how far it can go. But boy, it certainly doesn't seem to be showing up on the clock. It has plenty of speed, even though it's seeing some cords.
So 34 laps to go in this stage. Larry, remind me, what are your numbers telling you about fuel mileage?
Yeah, Mike, I mean, I keep crunching them in here, and I know we're hearing a lot of teams, a lot of drivers like Eric Almirola in this 10 that's talking like they're right on their number. But when I talked to several of the engine guys this week, the most mileage they were anticipating was somewhere around maybe 68 laps. We went back racing with 73 to go in this stage, and they pitted with 77 to go. And if the pace was falling way off, then I may start questioning my numbers. But the pace is just not slowing down.
So we see that teams could be as many as 5 laps short. Hey.
There's certainly no fuel saving going on right there for Ryan Blaney, as he was only out of the throttle about 50% through turns 1 and 2. See 8,300 RPM into turn 3.
There's Brad Keselowski, Ford onboard camera.
Well, that's pretty normal telemetry, and the throttle position, so not a lot of fuel savings going on out there. So I don't know if some of these guys are lying to Larry Mack on how far they can go.
How about Chase Elliott carrying our Mountain Dew camera? Had to check up for Josh Bilicki there. Eighth place, Boyer and Johnson.
I got to believe, Mike, that as they came up on that lap car, Bilicki, that opened up the opportunity. I think Clint Boyer had to check up a little bit, got in a tough position there, and Jimmy Johnson able to keep the momentum and get to the outside of Clint Boyer to complete that pass.
137 laps to go, and only one driver in the top 10 has ever scored a win at Kentucky. Martin Truex. Here are the past winners in Cup at Kentucky Speedway. Think of these drivers and what they all have in common besides winning here. They are all Cup Series champions. Here's Larry with today's right combination, sponsored by Subway.
Well, Mike, there is no question the right combination the 9 years we've been coming here to Kentucky would be with our Cup champions. All 9 of the races, as you said, have been won by a Cup Series champion. There are 8 active champions in the field. Now, 3 of those champions that's never won here would include Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, and Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car. These 2 guys, Ryan Blaney in the 12 that just took the lead from Eric Almirola, they hope this streak does not continue today. They hope to find the Subway right combination.
Thanks, Larry. Ryan Blaney to the front, becoming only the 3rd different driver to lead this race. And we're going to make that today's Tied, clean pass.
You can see Eric Almirola comes up on John Hunter Nemechek, loses some momentum, allows Ryan Blaney to get to the outside. But Ryan, I love this move. He's going to go 3 wide almost there for a second off of turn 4 to take the lead. It was a pretty clean pass. Eric Almirola is down outside of that traction compound, has no grip to be able to maintain the speed that Ryan Blaney's able to maintain. Also wonder, Mike, we saw the 10 car of Almirola really lose a lot of speed over the last couple laps to Ryan Blaney. I wonder if he's wore that left front tire out. We're hearing more and more about how these left side tires are starting to show some cords, maybe even feel some vibrations. Still driving with one hand.
At least through one end of the speedway. Yep.
I like watching that water bottle as he goes through the corner and all the G-load gets pushed to the right side and how that water starts to wash up into the top of that water bottle.
I think now he's just reaching over there out of habit, Jeff. Ryan Blaney had only led 1 lap here in his Cup career prior to today.
Look at it. Yeah, he's having it. I'm telling you, that's going to really have an effect on his hand over this race. The vibration coming up through that shifter and through the drive line, it's got to be very intense and severe. And I don't think he's even taken a drink of that bottle of water because he's had his hands full holding that shifter.
Ryan Blaney extremely focused right now. Said he needs to be freed up just a little bit on exit. That's the only place where he feels they can gain a little bit more. They're looking to pit about lap 149, Mike.
So that would be with 11 laps to go in stage 2.
And Mike and Jeff, that's one of the characteristics of this traction compound. And we talked about that before the green flag. It just seems like the cars get tighter and tighter. The front tires don't want to grip as good as the rear tires.
Yeah, that traction compound, while it has a lot of grip, it also really grinds those tires. So if your balance is a little bit tight, you're just going to wear those tires out even more. Look at Eric Almirola going to lose another position here to a Penske car. Joey Logano in that Pennzoil 4 going to the inside, taking second place. I really think the blistering pace that the 10 car, as we see Tyler Reddick hitting pit road, one of the first cars to hit pit road, I really think that he's wore those front tires out.
So Reddick becomes the first of the lead lap drivers to pit at lap 144. He had a big vibration, so they called him in early, anticipating they were going to have to stop under green anyway.
And it's very common when you start to wear those tires down to the cords that one of those cords will pop and you'll actually get a vibration because you get down to the cords and wear through the rubber in that tread.
And I think what we just saw there will be the norm. You go ahead and change 4 tires because you don't want to run the risk of just doing 2 rights and wear the left front out before this stage is over.
Reddick was 12th when he came to pit road. There's Bubba Wallace going a second lap down to Blaney.
I really don't think that was bad timing for Tyler Reddick. It's, you know, just short pitting. He just needs to make sure no caution comes out. He'll be in good shape here.
Fifth place, Alex Bowman. Truex was closing, but he is headed for pit lane. First of the Toyotas to pit. Larry, with new tires not being much of a premium as far as lap times are concerned, think everybody here is just going to run as far as they possibly can?
Well, I do, Mike, because again, and I saw it in last year's race, you short pit, and yeah, you've got 4 fresh tires, but if that caution comes out, you are absolutely burned. Here comes Chase Elliott in the 9 car. What I would tell these crew chiefs, you can't hide your lying eyes telling me you can make it to the end.
Okay. Jamie?
Chase Elliott said he got better as they ran there. Once that air pressure came up, he thought the car was good, but got a little bit tight. It'll be a 4-tire stop here, air pressure adjustment for Chase Elliott, who has a little bit different look this week.
Oh, issue on the 9. Can't get the right rear tire off for Chase Elliott.
Had to go back for another pump on the jack there. So now his Hendrick teammates, Bowman and Johnson, are in. Chase is finally away, but that's going to be costly. And Ryan Blaney headed for the pit lane, along with Joey Logano. Kurt Busch is in, and Eric Almirola. A lot of takers now. Jamie?
12 laps led today for Ryan Blaney in the 12. As I mentioned, just wants to be freed up a touch on exit, but the car has been good as the 10 of Eric Almirola, who's been so good today, makes it into his pit box.
Only 10 to go in the stage. Matt DiBenedetto now surrenders the lead to pit. Ryan Preece right behind him.
Hearing reports that left front tire on the 8 of Tyler Reddick was down to the cords. Got to believe there's a few more on pit road also.
Excuse me, that was Ricky Stenhouse pulling out as Preece comes in to his stall. That dark green car is Matt Kenseth. And here's Harvick. So that leaves Brad Keselowski in the lead. He was last in the pits at the stage break, along with Kyle Busch and Eric Jones.
Always the last guy out there. Well, he's not always the last guy. He's just going to do the opposite of what anybody else does, even under green flag stops, as Kyle Busch hits pit road and Denny Hamlin.
8 to go in stage 2. Keselowski and Jones, the drivers who have not stopped.
That's the 10 of Eric Almirola. The way that camber is done in that tire, you can see how it's really eating the outside edge. If that's the left front, yeah, that would be the edge of the tire that would put the most grip in that tire. So once you wear through it down to the cords, you just lose all of that left front grip.
Jones is in, surrendering second place.
And Mike, that's one of those things that you just can't fix. Not especially under a green flag stop or anytime quick under caution, is to fix the camber that you have in those front tires. You can maybe raise or lower the car up a little bit to help as the 2 of Brad Keselowski, our leader, hits pit road, but you really can't affect that camber change. All you can do is maybe air pressure.
Or stop more often.
Or that.
And that's not productive, right? Have not seen a lot of chassis adjustments on these cars today. Oh, Matt Kenseth in trouble, and it looks like the caution is out.
It looks like the left front tire is down, or left rear maybe.
Caution comes out with 6 laps to go in the stage.
You can see that car's gone around because you can see the roof flap had engaged. The 2 car, was he on pit road when that happened?
Well, we're hearing Keselowski is being scored the leader, and we'll check that as Matt Kenseth has brought the caution out with 6 laps to go.
That's what I call
in stage 2.
The perfect storm, Mike, is when you're on pit road changing your tires as the caution comes out. Let's see what happens. You can see Matt Kenseth down on the apron, knows he has an issue, tries to keep the car from going up on the racetrack. Luckily keeps it out of the wall.
Mike, the reason the 2 is scored as the leader, where he's pitting on pit road, he's pitting before the start-finish line. It goes across pit road. He did not have to move that far to be able to be scored at the start-finish line, even though he was on pit road.
So Brad Keselowski is the leader under caution. Matt Kenseth said over the radio he had no warning. The car just turned around on him.
And it's not like they did anything trickery on pit road. They went ahead and got their 4 fresh tires on that 2 car.
And so the way they are scored is as they hit the start-finish line, just past Keselowski's pit. See how this track is D-shaped? Now see the blue buildings? Those are the garages.
That looks
If
like
you
a
squint,
W.
Yeah, that's a W. Guess who helped design this track? Our old friend Darrell Waltrip, and that's why it's DW shaped. That's his story, and he's sticking to it.
I was going to say, man.
And I'm with him.
That is pretty cool.
Yep.
And well deserved if it is.
Now Keselowski was 15th prior to the pit cycle. There's Darrell. A statue that they erected in his honor and in appreciation of his help in to Jerry Carroll and partners in designing and getting Kentucky Speedway built.
And Mike, going back to the 42 of Matt Kenseth, he had just made his stop. And we've seen this happen. I think we saw it happen to Chase Elliott earlier in the season. When they dropped that jack, that the pit gun hit one of the valve stem cores and knocked it off. So that air comes out of that tire very quickly. And I think that's what happened to the 42 of Matt Kenseth as he left pit road.
Now let's take a look and establish the scoring virtually. Now there is Keselowski. At the time of caution, he has just passed the plane of the start-finish line, which runs from the starter stand down and all the way across pit road.
And you'll see a lot of crew chiefs choose pit stalls ahead, or, you know, I guess behind, if you want to call it that, the start-finish line for this exact reason, Mike, because if you're on pit road and you're doing your stop right as the caution comes out, all you have to do is roll across the start-finish line and you maintain whatever position that is, and can get a huge advantage. And we see that has worked out so well for Brad Keselowski in this scenario.
Yeah, he was well down pit road beyond the start-finish line area when I saw Blaney go across the start-finish line on the front stretch.
So gold star to crew chief Jeremy Bullins for that pit pick and for that strategy. It's got Keselowski out front. This is our final point race of the season on Fox. We turn over to NBC beginning next Sunday. But Wednesday night, a special treat for you. It's the NASCAR All-Star Race. $1 million to win with the biggest stars in stock car racing. And the action starts at 7 with the Open from Bristol Motor Speedway to set the final 4 qualifiers for the NASCAR Cup All-Star Race, 8:30 Eastern. And it's all here on FS1 and on the Fox Sports app. With glow lights under the cars, 4 segments in the race, and the choose cone where every driver gets to choose his lane on every restart. It's going to be wild, and it's at Bristol, baby, so it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait.
So here's some audio from Brad Keselowski's team about lane choice on this restart.
Honestly, it's a hard call for me to tell you which lane, because Blaney's obviously been the best car, and you're going to give him the outside, so without a push, you're in trouble. It's tough, man. I think if you give him the outside, there's a good chance he drives by you. I'll let you make that one, bub. I hear that.
So it'll be Keselowski, Blaney, Penske teammates on the front row.
Well, that was a pretty awesome turn of events for Roger Penske and this Penske Racing. I mean, 1, 2, 3. They already had the top 2 positions, and then Brad Keselowski, they really snookered him on that green flag stop. So now they're 1, 2, 3.
Ryan Newman, the free pass car. So we will restart to finish stage 2 and run 1 lap. There will be 23 lead lap cars, including Newman, who got the free pass. Now, prior to the pit stop cycle, Cole Custer was 14th, but when he stopped, he took on fuel only, so he's now up to 4th place.
Ooh, I don't know about that move there, Mike, other than to possibly get him some playoff points or some points the end of the stage. But we've seen that left front tire on several of these cars really worn. So I don't think he can go a lot further on those left side tires.
How about one lap?
Yeah, he only needs one, right?
That's
to
right.
Get those stage points. The question is, who else is going to stop after the end of the stage?
Well, listen to Coleman Presley, spotter for Brad Keselowski on the number 2 on this restart. 1 to go, and there will be a caution the next time by. We're just not sure.
Joey behind.
Why?
So there, quarter bumper. You are clear. You're just one behind. Blaney starting to get pushed now. Half behind. Blaney's almost clear. Just got clear. He is clear. Going with a cart. He is clear. One behind. Momentum 3/4. Half up, half up, half up. Equalized at half. Split down a little, trying to back up to a push. Split down just a little bit. Split down by 1. 3/4, 3/4, half, split down. Inside, inside, inside. He's not chasing you. Green checker, here's the line. Inside, you're good. Nice job.
And Brad Keselowski wins stage 2, his 4th stage win of the season.
Wasn't easy, though. Ryan
No.
Blaney put up heck of a battle. That car is so good. Going to have to deal with him a lot today.
And Eric Jones got the final stage point in 10th place. 2 stages in the books in Kentucky. Brad Keselowski, the winner of stage 2. Stage 2 complete in Kentucky. Brad Keselowski, stage winner. Penske 1, 2, and 4 positions at the end of the stage, broken up by Cole Custer in 3rd. I believe I just saw Ryan Preece head to the garage area. He had been one of the first cars 1 lap down and has gone there for mechanical reasons. So Martin Truex, the first Toyota, in 5th. Alex Bowman, the first Chevy, in 6th.
Here comes Cole Custer. Get those Goodyear tires. And everybody else pretty much staying out.
Right, he had taken fuel only during his green flag stop. We also had penalties, speeding penalties on green flag stops. Brennan Poole, Quinn Houff, and Corey LaJoie.
And, you know, want to congratulate that guy right there, Brad Keselowski, in winning stage 2. But we got some questions for the guy that finished 2nd, Ryan Blaney, especially with that shifter issue he's having. So we're going to dial him up. Hey, Ryan Blaney, this is Jeff and Mike at the Fox Sports Studios. You got a copy?
Hey, yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, I know your teammate there, Brad Keselowski, won that stage, but one, you've got an awesome fast race car, but we want to hear more about this shifter. You know, we've been watching you hold that thing in 4th gear. Obviously, the vibrations coming through that driveline through your hand. See you shaking it out every once in a while. I mean, what's that thing like to drive? I know it's driving good, but what's it like with that shifter issue?
Yeah, well, it's a good thing. It's driving really good. I'm going to go one-handed through 1 and 2. I had to pop out of gear there early in the race. Took me a second to figure out it popped out of gear, but yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I couldn't really get a bungee cord on it, so just kind of deal with it. Keep going, but our advanced auto parts support Mustang's been really fast from the go-go, and just, man, it's a shame we couldn't win that stage, but that happened.
Yeah, well, we definitely had some fun watching you with that bungee cord, so good luck the rest of the way, holding it in gear with one hand, and we'll see if you can't get it done. That thing's pretty fast. Thanks for talking to us.
Ryan Blaney 2nd in stage 2. 104 laps to go in Kentucky. Stage 2 won by his Penske teammate as Brad Keselowski picks up his 4th stage win of the season. 101 laps to go in Kentucky. Ryan Blaney. Brad Keselowski will restart on the front row, and Kyle Busch may have an issue.
Just goes off in the corner and falls over on the right rear, travels on the right rear, lifts the left front now, and feels squirmy. Did it happen all of a sudden? Well, I felt it pop about 5 laps before the end of that stage.
and then now firing off, restarting right there. Just the back of the car feels like it's a motorboat, and it doesn't have any grip. I don't feel anything clanking. Like, it's not like a bolt came out and the shock's hanging and it's clanking at all, so that's not it.
So if you think of, a motorboat, right, what does it do when you try to plane up on the water? The back end is down and the front is up, and that's what he's feeling. He's obviously, exaggerating the situation, but something in that car is making it feel like it's laying over in the right front. When a car travels on the right rear, what does it do? Lifts up the left front, so you lose all your downforce.
He will restart 10th. Michael McDowell has the free pass. Brian Preece in the garage with transmission trouble. And we're ready for stage 3 as they approach the Geico restart zone.
Just go back to that perfect storm under green, Mike, where the 2-car Brad Keselowski stays out. It's on pit road as the caution comes out to get this lead, and how that's going to change his race. And now he's controlling this restart in this race, but he's got 2 or 3 very fast race cars behind him. One moving into second, Martin Truex Jr., and the other one side by side is Ryan Blaney, and here comes Jimmy Johnson into the picture.
And they were 4 wide from about 12th on back all the way through the corner.
And don't forget Ryan Blaney doing this with one hand through turns 1 and 2. Jimmy Johnson's going to get there to the outside of Blaney. Kyle Busch in the 6th spot, leading this group.
+4. Yeah, from where he started.
Yeah,
restarted.
Whatever he was feeling, it went away on this restart.
Jamie.
So good to see Jimmy Johnson running like this, Mike. I talked to him on Race Hub just before our broadcast began, and he told me last week, sitting out for the first time in his entire career and watching Justin Allgaier behind the wheel, he said, I wasn't going to watch the race, but I came around, I watched it, and I realized how much I love competition, how competitive I am. I can't wait to get back in my race car and be with my guys. Now he's up there running in 3rd.
Johnson had to sit out Indianapolis because he tested positive for COVID-19 after his wife experienced some allergy symptoms and tested positive. NASCAR's protocol, you must test negative for 2 consecutive days to be allowed to come back, and that happened. So Jimmy is racing here.
Oh, Kyle Busch into the wall, saves it. Saves into the wall. He touched it with that right rear quarter panel and rear bumper.
May have put that quarter panel on the tire. Don't see a rub, but...
And does this have anything to do with what he had been feeling and describing over the radio to his crew chief? But that is definitely going to affect the side force of that race car.
Jeff, 95 out of 100 drivers don't make that save.
I mean, this guy's got a ton of talent, not just to win races and make the car go fast, but even when you're trying to save a car that's basically come completely around. Look at Kyle Busch, just goes wide. He just gets up out of the traction compound, Mike, and the back end steps around. But that was weird. Something caused that car to jump up the racetrack like that and get sideways.
Here's what he said.
It's broke. The car is broken.
Well, he tried to describe it before that restart, but he did such an amazing job in the opening laps after that restart that you thought maybe it was fine, but you could see the back of that car really moving around. Here's a lead change.
Truex Keselowski. Remember, Martin Truex had his car fail inspection twice this morning, meaning he had to start this race from the back. No problem for Martin. He's won 2 of the last 3 here.
I said lead change. Here's off of turn 4. He gets a big run on Brad Keselowski. He gets to the inside. They're going to drag race, side draft down this front straightaway. He's got position on Brad Keselowski to the inside through 1 and 2. So close to being ahead of Brad. But you can see Brad comes back. and maintains the lead for now.
5 wins here between those two drivers. Jimmy Johnson, Ryan Blaney, this is for third.
Well, before the incident there with Kyle Busch, I was just going to say, think about that. You're Jimmy Johnson. You've been racing in this series since 2002. Never to see somebody else driving your race car, and that would have to feel strange. And you lose sight of the appreciation, how much you love doing what you do when you do it every week, 38 weeks out of the year, year after year after year. And so as much as you hate to see that experience or what caused that for Jimmy Johnson, it actually might have been something that really made a big difference to Jimmy Johnson as he gets back to racing this weekend.
Jimmy Johnson had never missed a race in his Cup career until last weekend. Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex fight it out. Parts for Kyle Busch as we take you side by side.
NASCAR is what you talk about around the water cooler. It's what a father passes down to his son. NASCAR is why you work hard all week so you can go racing on the weekends. It's the edge of your seat Sundays on the couch. It's where you find your deepest rivals and your biggest heroes. NASCAR is the greatest party on the planet. For all of the ways to show what NASCAR is to you, visit the NASCAR shop.
Give everyone something to look up to. The all-new Highlander Hybrid. Toyota. Let's go places.
Okay, so let's talk home and auto bundle. We all know customers can save big. So we're talking 24/7 protection as it... Mara, hello?
Yeah.
We can see you on your phone.
Oh, my bad. You can continue.
I think she's still on the phone.
Curbside, and now safely reopening our restaurant. Hooters, welcome back to feeling welcome.
Wednesday on FS1 with $1 million to the winner.
Wow, that was wild.
The All-Stars take on the short track in Bristol. The NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Race, live from Bristol, Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
And everyone's invited, and I am going to keep going until someone drinks some champagne. I am the NASCAR Gander RV and Outdoors Truck Series.
86 laps to go, 85 now in Kentucky. Martin Truex leading Brad Keselowski, Ryan Blaney, Jimmy Johnson, and Kurt Busch, the top 5. Time to take a look at today's Credit One Bank ones to watch.
And Mike, I'm watching Jimmy Johnson. He missed last week, the first time in his career. He's back. He appreciates more than ever what it's like to be in competition, and he is competitive today. Running in the top 5, one of 3 tracks Kentucky is that he's never won at today. He gets win number 1 at Kentucky.
Jeff, I know. To my point earlier, right now, 4 of the top 5, they are past Cup champions. But nobody has been better at mile-and-a-half tracks this year than Ryan Blaney. Bungee cord or no bungee cord, he's going to victory lane.
Well, he won this race a year ago. It was the first and only win for his crew chief, Matt McCall. Kurt Busch did a great job in the booth on Friday night calling the Xfinity race. He's moving his way forward. Kurt Busch gets win number 2 at Kentucky.
Martin has been marvelous since starting last due to an inspection issue. He's 2 of the last 3. We're going to make that 3 out of the last 4. Victory lane for Martin Truex in Kentucky. Can you tell I got to pick first this week?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. That's your Credit One Bank ones to watch. And here is how Truex took the lead from Brad Keselowski.
Well, Brad Keselowski tried every single line and different approach to these corners here at Kentucky to try to hold off the 19, and then he comes up on a lap car of Timmy Hill, and that opens up the door for Mark Truex Jr. to get the lead. And Mike, other than Almirola, who's back there in 10th place, not really able to recover right now, I don't know if anybody, well, I guess Blaney in third also, has anything for this 19 after coming all the way from the rear of the field today.
There's Almirola, who has led 128 laps today, one of 6 leaders, and the one who will leave here having led the most laps. There are the lap leaders. Kyle Busch continues to soldier on. He's the last car on the lead lap, 20 seconds off the lead. You saw them carrying, I believe that was a shock in the right hand of the mechanic coming back from the truck to the pit lane.
Yeah, Mike, it seems to me, and Kyle Busch, one of the best at describing the details of what he's feeling inside the car. And I believe that what they feel like happened, maybe the shock didn't come off of the mount, but they believe maybe the shock itself internally may have broke.
So he may not be one of our Toyota top performers then again. Truex the leader, Hamlin 14th, Jones 17th, Christopher Bell, and there's Kyle in 24th currently. Sixth place, I think Chase Elliott got caught out on the lap car, and Matt DiBenedetto had a full head of steam and went by.
Well, he's had a full head of steam all day long. Matt DiBenedetto doing a great job here today. He's got a nice race car, doing a great job maneuvering through that lap traffic. Now, I really expected this traction compound in the heat of the day with this longer race. I expected it to move up the racetrack, Mike. I thought that the groove was going to get wider. So we see Eric Almirola going to the inside of his teammate Clint Boyer, not able to make that pass. And I expected this groove to move up and just have more 2 and 3 wide racing even through the corners, but it just hasn't happened. These cars are actually, with as much downforce as they have, able to keep it right down on the bottom, as you see Eric Almirola do and Cole Custer.
Now, we go to Bristol Wednesday night from the All-Star race. This is starting to look like a big Bristol. The groove is the top lane. The bottom lane is where, if you dare, you can try to pass. So with 76 laps to go in Kentucky, how about a Fox NASCAR crank it up?
Flapper ahead.
Truex out front of Brad Keselowski by the same half second. He was ahead of him when we cranked it up. .65 laps to go in Kentucky, where Martin Truex's Toyota has opened up a 1.1-second lead on Brad Keselowski and Ryan Blaney's Mustang. So here's your race recap, sponsored by Advance Auto Parts. That sound is Ryan Blaney's car jumping out of fourth gear as he battled teammate Joey Logano. So he held it in fourth gear until the next pit stop, when they offered him a drink and a bungee cord to tie that shifter. Problem was, he couldn't see or feel where to tie it, so he spent the rest of the race holding the car in gear in turns 1 and 2. Eric Almirola, the winner of stage number 1, which went green to green and white checker. The only incident of the day was for Matt Kenseth, who cut down a tire after the gun hit the valve stem on a pit stop, and it spun around on him, leaving the pits. End of stage 2, Brad Keselowski holds off Ryan Blaney for the stage win at lap 160. Kyle Busch has what seems to be a shock problem on the right rear. Almost lost the car. Tremendous save. And still runs on the tail end of the lead lap. Martin Truex took the lead from Keselowski and is now 1.9 seconds ahead with 62 to go. And that's your race recap, sponsored by Advance Auto Parts. I want to send a special hello to longtime friend of Fox and colleague Nelson Crozier, who's been doing a bit of sheet time. Had his own business making ignition systems for these race cars for many, many years, and has helped out on our Fox crew and CBS before that for quite a while. Just want to send our good wishes to Nelson Crozier.
And Mike, I know Martin Truex Jr. is out front here by about 2 seconds on Brad Keselowski, but we actually had some reports that prior to going to that caution, he had a pretty loose condition where that car got really wide, almost got into the wall. So either Martin Truex Jr. is really pushing the limits of that race car right now, or the balance of it is such where it can jump out from underneath him, you know, pretty easily.
Trouble for Jimmy Johnson?
Or he's thanking the guy behind him, who is that Kurt Busch. But you would think that means he's coming to pit road, and he is.
Blue line.
Now, is this scheduled?
Jeff, the window is open that you can make it from here, but I felt like this was a little early. We are here, and he was complaining about a vibration.
Well, this could work in his favor if we stay green.
Well, you know, when you're in that top 5 position, you got to take some risks. You got to take some chances and try something different. So that vibration might work to their favor. Certainly, you've got them into their window.
And a little chassis adjustment. Took a round out of the left rear there, Jamie.
Exactly what you said, Jeff. They're taking risks. Cliff Daniels, his crew chief, told me today's race was going to be all about doing what the others don't. And Jimmy did have a vibration, as Larry Mack just alluded to. He said it continued to get worse. He didn't want to stay out any longer.
And that's the key. Usually your crew chief's going to come on the radio and say, hey, tell me if it gets worse. Tell me if you can hold on to it. If you can hold on to it for 5, 10 more laps, that'll put us in our window. And that was the communication between Cliff Daniels and Jimmy Johnson.
Wow, 2 drivers that are running each other pretty hard right here.
Well, we've seen where neither one of these guys are going to cut anybody any slack after that issue that happened at Bristol just a few races ago. Then you see Alex Bowman on pit road putting 4 tires on his car. But ever since that incident at Bristol where these 2 wrecked going for the lead in the closing laps, we have seen Joey Logano basically push the limits of Chase Elliott every time they're around one another.
They just don't give each other an inch. And that will probably continue all season long and maybe beyond. Eric Jones is in. Jones, who got his best finish of the season with a 3rd in the 2nd race at Pocono.
been a pretty good track for Eric Jones. Finished third here a year ago.
Turn in the right rear there.
Actually, I'm not sure if he's ever finished outside the top 7 in 3 races he's run here.
Guys, even though we've seen 2 or 3 drivers hit pit road, I just feel like, especially when you look at Brad Keselowski, that 2 car, that there are going to be some drivers that run another 15, 18 laps, just stretching this fuel run here.
Well, I know what I want to do. I want to come down pit road when the caution comes out like Brad Keselowski did. I want to be sitting in my pit box changing 4 tires.
That was great. Boy, Blaney had quite a run into the corner there.
I think if Blaney gets by Brad Keselowski here, we're going to see a heck of a battle for the lead, because I think Blaney's the guy that can battle with Truex Jr. right now. I'm still surprised, talking about Almirola and how dominant he was in the beginning of this race. Still back in 9th position, really hasn't been able to move up through the field after losing that track position.
This has been quite a battle for 9th place. Almirola and Custer, and now Chris Buescher in a Roush Fenway Ford joins that duo. Boy, Cole Custer, nice run for the rookie today.
Definitely. Nice run for Chris Buescher also.
Yep, knocking on the door of a top 10. Ford with 8 of the top 11 spots right now. Truex's Toyota leads. Chevy's for Kurt Busch in 4th and Chase Elliott in 8th. Otherwise, all blue ovals in those top 11.
You know, Mike, you never want to fail inspection twice to start the rear of the field like Mark Truex Jr. did. But when you're coming up through the field, you adjust your car different for being in traffic. Eric Almirola is the exact opposite situation. He's been out front leading this race in clean air. And as we see a great battle between Cole Custer's teammate and Chris Buescher might come on through there and utilize that opportunity also. But we're just seeing where once Eric Almirola lost that track position, the handling on his car not the same. Ooh, Chris Buescher puts that right front fender right to the left rear of Eric Almirola.
Now Denny Hamlin is in. I'm not sure if it's coincidence or if they told him that Eric Jones' left front tire was corded when he made his pit stop.
Well, I can tell you that these guys, they feel it. You know, you lose the grip, you feel a vibration because of those cords showing. Sometimes it'll break that cord. Other times you just feel the front grip go away drastically. And here's Eric Almirola on pit road.
So, Larry, I guess these teams are electing to split this stage in half.
Yeah, that's exactly what they've done. So you know, if you've run this far, I mean, it's not a guarantee, Mike, but if you've run this far on that left front tire, that this gives you a little bit of a comfort level you can make it to the end.
Ryan Newman this time is not giving the leader any room. When he got lapped just prior to the stage end, he knew he'd be the free pass car. That was okay. But right now, Newman is going to be a tough out, as they say in baseball.
That was close to being a tough conversation while they were out fishing, because those are fishing buddies. So we see the 1 car, Kurt Busch, on pit road.
And we're told Truex is coming next time.
Yeah, the 19 had not pitted, Mike, since lap 147. They actually stayed out those last 2 cautions, but there were 12 caution laps in that area.
Jamie.
And the 1 for Kurt Busch said the car was loose, had a vibration, just like so many others that time around. 4 tires stopped. Now the 19 of Martin Truex Jr., he just came on the radio. The car started to stutter. He was running out of fuel, had to flip that switch. Martin told James Small's crew chief, we should have pitted 1 lap ago. We went too far, and I gave up too much time.
Funny that Newman came in right with him. Blaney in as well. And they'll race each other down pit road. Brad Keselowski picks up the lead once again. Now Clint Bowyer, the 2nd place car, and Matt DiBenedetto gives up 3rd to make his stop. Chase Elliott in as well. Keselowski the leader and Bowyer have not stopped. Now last time around, Brennan Poole has a tire rub. Pretty big one.
Boy, yeah, and what's this going to do for our leader, Brad Keselowski? Is this going to put him in the same position as the last time when the caution came out?
Lightning wouldn't strike twice in the same place, would it?
By my calculations, he should be able to go when he was last on pit road. He should be able to go another 4 to 6 laps.
When we talked about fifth Daniels, Jimmy Johnson being the first ones on pit road and the risk of being the first car on pit road, now Brad Keselowski, he's in a different position of being risky by staying out as Clint Boyer hits pit road.
Boyer was the second place car. And we're hearing Keselowski may come this time. Yep. And you're riding with him. And this will cycle the lead to Cole Custer. Jamie.
Brad Keselowski made the call to pit. He said, I'm shattering the left front. I want to come. Jeremy Bullens said, all right, bring it to us. A 4-tire stop. Got lucky this time so far. No caution.
So there's another car making a slight adjustment to the left rear before that car leaves the pit road.
Ty Dillon coming in behind him. And this will leave us 12 cars on the lead lap with Custer and Byron out in front of Christopher Bell and Kevin Harvick.
Here come our leaders. That was Ryan Blaney getting his lap back. Cole Custer still out there. Let's see what happens with Blaney. He goes by the 2 car and the 19 of Mark Truex Jr. just ahead of these drivers.
So the top 8 cars will have to pit. Just a question of when. And when that happens, that will cycle the lead back to Truex again if we stay under green.
And Mike, of those drivers, all of them pitted under that last caution at lap 163, except for Christopher Bell in the 95. He should be coming any minute now.
41 to go in Kentucky. We'll take you Fox side by side.
I am the future, and I am now.
How about winning Daytona?
I am a face you may not know, with a number you may not know.
Ross Chastain back on Algar.
But you will. Trust me, you will. I am going to make sure my name will be the one you'll remember forever. I am the NASCAR Xfinity Series. I am NASCAR.
America, we want to help get you back to it. And here's how, with the Ford Promise. Visit your Ford dealer. Finance a new, certified pre-owned or used vehicle through Ford Credit. And if you lose your job, you can return it for up to 1 year from the day you bought it. You can also get 0% APR financing for 72 months across the Ford lineup. Let us help get you back to it with the Ford Promise.
Devin, did you know Geico is now offering an extra 15% credit on car and motorcycle policies?
Okay.
That's 15% on top of what Geico could already save you. So what are you waiting for? DJ Khaled to be your motivational coach?
Yo, Devin, remember to brush in a circle motion.
Thank you, DJ Khaled.
Tiny circles, Devin. Do another one. Another one.
Is this good?
Put in that work, Devin. Don't give up.
Geico. Save an extra 15% when you switch by October 7th.
That's hopeful, you know? It's a
life that puts the mind at ease. I feel at home.
Great way to come back after 5 strikeouts. That must feel tremendous in the stadium. With some quick outs and early success.
The NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Race, live from Bristol, Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern on FS1.
Wow, things changed quickly here in Kentucky. Brennan Poole cut down a tire, and a piece of his crush panel ended up on the track, and that was debris. Now watch the 3 of Austin Dillon, who is trying not to pit, but because of the transition ends up losing the car, spinning it around after the caution had waved. The caution is for debris, and now pit road is open under caution.
Mike, these cars handle really good turning left at speed. They don't turn very good to the right on these 1.5 mile tracks.
So William Byron was the leader. He had not pitted. Neither had Kevin Harvick, Michael McDowell, Christopher Bell, Austin Dillon, or Kyle Busch. They are the first 6 cars, and 6 out of 12 lead lap cars.
Yeah, that locked a lot of cars that were good cars that were up in the top, 12 or 15. Now some of those cars are a lap down.
So we're under caution here with 36 to go. Some sad news out of Langley Speedway, where 11-time track champion Sean Belluzzo crashed hard in last night's modified feature and succumbed to his injuries, leaving behind wife Terry and 3 children. Our thoughts and prayers are with the Belluzzo family today. Laps to go here in Kentucky. Now Wednesday night, the NASCAR Cup All-Star Night, live from Bristol. 7 p.m. is the Open. 8:30 Eastern on FS1 on the Fox Sports app is the All-Star Race. And then the NBC crew picks up again and will carry you through the whole rest of the season next Sunday. Cup Series racing from Texas, 3 p.m. Eastern time on the NBC Sports Network. Rick Allen and his crew got their feet wet at the Brickyard last weekend. I don't know, Jeff, after everything that's happened this season, what could they ever find to talk about? But I know they'll be able to, and they'll give you a great ride through the whole rest of the season.
They certainly will. And of course, you've got the playoffs and crowning a champion, and things just ramp up and intensify, as just like they're going to here with 33 laps to go. On these restarts, we're going to see all of the give and take go completely out the window. We got 2 guys that are really fast, have really fast race cars, Truex Jr. and Blaney, on the front row for this restart. Ought to be a very exciting one.
So with the timing of the caution, 6 cars were on the lead lap at that time because they had not pitted. Plus 5 cars that were still on the lead lap that had pitted. That's 11. Clint Boyer is the free pass. That's 12. And 11 cars will take the wave around with 1 to go. So when we restart, there will be 23 cars on the lead lap. Right now, 33 to go. Jamie?
Well, Kurt Busch was talking about something being broken, and we saw them bring the shock out. So I went down to his box, and it was interesting. We saw his mechanics and all of his pit crew get around, and they watched the video footage from the helmet cams. There it is there. See, on top of some of their helmets, they actually have a camera, so they could dial it in and see exactly what was going on with the shock. Well, on the last stop, he came in. They took a look at it, but they did not change that shock. So it looks to be that nothing is broken, and it's interesting, Mike. We've heard a couple other drivers say the same thing. They felt like it was broken. They needed a packer change, and it felt like they did have a right rear spring in it.
All right. Thanks, Jamie. 32 to go when they come back. Eric Almirola's led the most laps today, 128. Martin Truex has been out in front the second most for 42. There go the 11 wave arounds past the pace car. You're allowed to take the wave around if you do not stop during the caution, and if all the lead lap cars do stop, so that there are no lead lap cars between you and the pace car. So here's your Credible.com race summary. Truex, one of 8 leaders today, just 9 lead changes. 23 cars on the lead lap. Ryan Newman now will be in the free pass position. 5 caution flags. Almirola and Keselowski, the stage winners.
So if you look at it, basically 5th through, 12th place Boyer, they all came in and got fresher tires. So they've got about 9-10 fresher tires on their cars. Now, we've not seen tires make a big difference, but we have seen some kind of wear those left front tires out. So I don't know if having 10 or 11 fresher laps on those tires, if that might make a difference on one of these restarts as we get closer to the end. Because, Mike, I have a feeling this is not going to be the last restart that we see here today.
I think you're right. So Truex and Blaney on the front row. Keselowski and Kurt Busch, last year's winner here, going to add 1 lap and reset the lineup. Harvick and Byron, Bell and McDowell. Michael McDowell up for 8th place. Having a good run here today. Larry, in fact, that whole team, Front Row Motorsports, have really come on this year. Really had quite a season, both McDowell and John Hunter Nemechek. Not sure if that plays into your trends, but let us have it, Larry, with 31 to go in the last Fox Point race of the season.
Mike, what may play into the trend is what we see on this restart. We know how wild restarts can be, and looking at the last 9 Kentucky races, all the races we've run here, the final caution just north of 30 laps to go, and we have had 2 overtime finishes, including last year in 2019 with the Busch brothers beating and banging all the way to the checkered flag.
Oh. So you're saying this is the final caution. Jeff and I are saying we don't think.
What I'm saying, I think there's a chance.
I think there's a chance.
Okay.
Well, one thing's for sure, we're going to get to see 2 of the best cars here in this race going head-to-head on that front row. Mark Truex Jr., leader, Ryan Blaney in 2nd place. Of course, you got Ryan Blaney has a teammate, Brad Keselowski, that can help push him into turn 1. Kurt Busch for Mark Truex Jr.
Any of the front 4 can win this, and quite a few that are a little further back. You're going to listen to Kurt Busch's spotter, Tyler Green, the number 1, and the pace car's in. Let's see if this is the final restart of the day.
5, ready. Green flag, green flag. So run from behind, all good behind you. Still inside. Inside lane's pushing, no worries out back. 4 is in line with you now. 4 in line. 4 in line tight. No pressure from behind. 2 still inside.
See 3 wide, Kyle Busch to the inside.
Back to the 4.
Here,
4's tight with you.
Christopher Bell.
Still inside.
Jimmy Johnson jumping from 9th to 6th here. And William Byron right with him in 7th. Truex trying to pull away.
Kevin Harvick goes to the inside of Brad Keselowski. Remember, these guys have a little bit fresher tires. See if they can't do something with them. Jimmy Johnson, William Byron. Oh, Keselowski gets a little bit loose.
And that vaults Johnson up to 5th place. Byron to 6th. Keselowski back to 7th. Challenging. Passing. Nice recovery.
We see William Byron goes up the racetrack. He's going to lose that spot to Keselowski. Maybe another one to Christopher Bell. Here comes Jimmy Johnson on Kevin Harvick. And they go around Kurt Busch. Johnson, this is going to be for 3rd position. He'll be the first car with the freshest Goodyear tires.
And he restarted 9th. Blaney's closed it right back up on the leader, and 1.4 back comes the 7-time champion.
Oh, Tyler Reddick gets to the outside of Denny Hamlin as Matt DiBenedetto, Chris Buescher go to the inside.
Jimmy Johnson third, leading the Hendrick fleet of Camaros.
Yeah, I know one guy sitting at home enjoying his birthday. I'd like to see those Hendrick Chevys get a little bit further up there, maybe get a win because it's Rick Hendrick's birthday today.
Did you ever win on his birthday weekend?
Well, we may or may not have looked it up. I was a little early. I gave it to him early.
Just
maybe
a day or 2.
4 days.
That's okay. Better early than late.
It's many years ago, though. Martin Truex Jr. just put up his fastest lap of the race. Matter of fact, I think it might be the overall, close to it. Jimmy Johnson actually put up the fastest lap of the race, 29.84, just a lap ago.
Wait a minute. But they're in 9th place at Kyle Busch. Isn't that car that was broken not long ago? It's broken.
Well, it's broken and it's in
car in the wall,
position.
John Hunter Nemechek. And that will put us back under caution.
Heavy damage to the nose, to the right rear. John Hunter Nemechek was running 27th, 2 laps down at the time of that incident.
You know, I heard his teammates crew chief Drew Blickensderfer on the radio this morning, and he was saying Front Row Motorsports has never finished the season with a car in the top 25 in owner points, and right now coming into this race, both their cars are in the top 25. And Nemechek having a bout with the wall.
Yeah, you could
puts
see,
us under caution.
You know, we've heard drivers talk about where that traction compound is, and you run in it, you build the rubber up, and you build the grip up in that traction compound. But if you get higher, as we saw John Hunter Nemechek get higher, there's a lot of debris up there and marbles that allows the car to lose all that grip, and that looks to me like what happened to John Hunter Nemechek. All right, Larry Mack. Do your magic, buddy.
If I'm running in, say, the top 8 to 12, I've already sent the pit box back to the hall. No way I'm coming. Now, if you're at the back half, absolutely, especially one of those drivers that took the wave around.
We're going to see a lot of faking.
So much for trend.
Going on here.
And here's a taker. Just one?
They're going to work on that broke car some more.
Yeah. And a few further back, including Eric Almirola, who's led the most laps today. Eric Jones, Alex Bowman, and Nemechek, who brought out the caution. Kyle Busch pitted from 9th position, the others from further on back. You get a feeling here in Kentucky, the fun's just getting started.
Oh, yeah.
That crewman on John Hunter Nemechek's car is swinging for the fences as he tries to pound out that fender. Which reminds us, Major League Baseball on Fox returns July 25th. Baseball is back, and of course America's home for baseball this summer, as always.
We'll put that pit crew member in the lineup, Mike.
There you go. Fox and FS1. Here in Kentucky, there is the trophy and the jukebox that awaits the winner. 20 laps from now, not including overtime.
Just rubbing it in, Mike.
What's that?
One of those things I never got to.
The jukebox?
Yeah, never got
Jeff.
to take home. And I love jukeboxes. I love music. That's a cool trophy. You got to work hard to get that done here, and these boys are ready to fire it up for this final. Well, it could be. I don't know, Mike. Now, what do you think? Is this going to be the final restart? We got about 20 laps to go. I think there might be one more.
I think this could be it. You've got Ryan Blaney and 5 series champions up front. We're Told that Hey 19 is B4 on the jukebox.
Okay.
I get told a lot of things in my headset, and some of them you want to hear, and then there's others. But that was a good one. Little Steely Dan. All right. Pace car is in. It'll be 19 to go in Kentucky. Who gets the jukebox? Let's find out.
Jimmy Johnson gets turned by Keselowski. You could see it coming, Mike. Caution is out. Jimmy Johnson moved down to try to block that big run coming from Brad Keselowski. Jimmy did a similar move on the last restart, was able to make up some spots. Keselowski tried it that time, and he and Jimmy Johnson come together.
Looks like Jimmy's got a tire rub as a result.
Pretty good chance of a right front. Oh, these guys are wondering who was ahead at the time of caution.
And our scoring has Blaney. Now, at the time of caution, it is not the moment of caution that determines the leader. So that you can't advance on the yellow, it's the last scoring loop that is crossed prior to the caution flag, where you see Jimmy going around off the bumper of Brad's number 2.
Yeah, and what you saw, Jimmy was up there pushing the 12 of Blaney, and Brad Keselowski kind of had a little bit of a run, waited a little bit further back. I mean, he did it perfectly, timed it perfectly, and Jimmy just wasn't there quick enough to try to put that block on and turned himself around. That's what, it's really tough. You know, you're focused on the car ahead of you. You're trying to push Blaney if you're Jimmy Johnson, and you're focused on getting up through the gears and pushing him to try to get by Mark Truex Jr. And then at the same time, you got to look up in your mirror real quick, because it happens fast. It's just so hard to anticipate that move that Brad Keselowski made right there.
Here's what Brad had to say.
It's ridiculous. Run me off the racetrack. I don't run people off the racetrack like that.
Well, you know, this is what we talk about. Inside 20 laps to go, there's just no give and take. And when somebody gets a run like that, if you're Brad Keselowski and you have that run, you're not going to lift. You're going to go all the way to the grass if you have to. And if you're Jimmy Johnson, you're going to put as big of a block on as you can. I think, you know, when Jimmy looks back at this, he's going to maybe wish he could have gotten down there a little bit quicker to block that run that Brad had going. You can see he sees it coming at the last minute or last second. And Brad just not going to lift.
Doesn't look like, other than that one tire rub, doesn't look like much damage on Johnson's car.
No, the real damage is just the fact that you're going to have to come down pit road and lose all that track position, and you were third, and now you're going to be the tail end of the lead lap in, what, 24th.
Pretty heavy contact with the right front of Keselowski's car. Hopefully it is clear of the tire. So again, we go back to the last scoring loop crossed before the caution, the moment of caution.
Yeah, the only issue here, Mike, is just that left rear will rub that left rear tire. So when they come down, they'll clearance that. Probably one of the least sensitive areas on the race car aerodynamically is that quarter panel behind the left rear.
And Johnson is tail end of the lead lap anyway, so.
And Mike, it appears to me that Blaney just had crossed the timing loop that's just past the exit of pit road on the racetrack. I mean, he just barely was beyond that. And to your point, it's not the moment of caution unless it's the end of the race. It's where they cross that last loop.
And the reason for that, NASCAR installed these scoring loops around every racetrack in multiple locations. And the reason for that rule is so that drivers, when they see the caution flag waving, they can't try to pick up positions at the time of caution and perhaps cause a bigger problem.
So let's watch the 12 and the 19 and keep this going. You see Jimmy gives the 12 of Ryan Blaney a nice little push into turn 1. Now Blaney's going to have that, lower line, the shorter line. You see, Truex had a little bit of an issue, and he checks up. Actually, he might have just checked up because that's when the caution came out. But that 12 still, I think, was a nose ahead. Can I say that in Kentucky, Mike?
Winning by a nose? Yes, you can, especially in Kentucky. You see those big puffy clouds. They're not all friendly. There were a couple of sprinkles reported up on the spotter stand.
You mean urgency? That's what I call that in those clouds.
That's right. Urgent. That's the flip side of Jukebox Hero, I think. These little pop-up showers have been a problem here all weekend. Hey, it's July. It's Kentucky. This is the weather you're going to have. They just kind of come up in the Ohio River Valley out of nowhere. And sometimes, in Sheldon Creed's case, that's a friendly rain shower because at the end of stage 2 in the truck race, he was the winner. When it continued to rain here last night, NASCAR called it. Creed the winner. Austin Cindric doubled up in the Xfinity Series. Doubleheader here. Christopher Bell having a good run here in 6th place. Now, Martin Truex was the most popular pick to finish 1st or 2nd by the players in our free Fox Bet Super 6 game today. The jackpot's up to $120,000, and after today it goes away. So a while back I was told that 47 players had 5 of the 6 answers, drivers in the correct positions to cash in. 5 of the 6, nobody had exactly 6, and maybe we can get a further update here.
Well, you know what that tells me, Mike? Nobody went with the picks other than Kurt Busch that I predicted before this race started.
So Martin Truex, can he get any help from behind on this next restart?
Tell the forwarder to get on me. Push, please. We got to go.
Martin Truex Jr. asking for a little help from Kevin Harvick.
So he's assuming he'll restart on the inside because every leader has chosen the outside lane for the restarts today to get up into that traction compound down in the corner.
Well, and what you have to deal with if you're on the front row, as we just saw with Jimmy Johnson and Brad Keselowski, but let's say you're Ryan Blaney and you've got Kurt Busch behind you. Kurt Busch would like to give you a push, to get himself in a better position, but at some point he might want to take you 3 wide if he has a run and he can get position to the outside. So you can never be guaranteed that person, once they get to your rear bumper, is going to stay there.
A little more audio from Martin Truex and company.
It's all good, man. You'll be better than him all day. So get a nice restart here. You can drive back past him either way, so don't stress. I ain't stressed.
the one that stressed is the crew chief, James Small.
Yes, giving his driver a pep talk. I think just about all the necessary adrenaline is right there up in those front 4 spots. So Blaney, if he chooses the outside, and he likely will, or did, excuse me, he did, he'll have Kurt Busch behind him, last year's winner. Truex will be on the inside with Kevin Harvick behind him. Now, behind them, what role will Brad Keselowski in the 2 or Christopher Bell in the 95 play in this restart?
Well, we know what Brad Keselowski's going to do. We just saw it happen on the last restart.
Go to the inside and keep his foot to the floor.
Absolutely.
All right, will this be the final restart? Is this the run for the roses? Pace car's in. It'll be 13 laps to go. Blaney on the outside, Truex on the inside. Here we go to settle the Quaker State 400.
Oh, look at Kevin Harvick taking him 3 wide, goes to the inside.
Keselowski.
No way, is he going to steal one here?
Keselowski trying to go with him.
One lane.
Oh, Truex gets loose.
Unbelievable. 3 wide for 2nd place as Kevin Harvick takes the lead. 3 wide back in that next row back also. This would be unbelievable for Kevin Harvick. Never won here at this track.
Oh, 4 wide. Look at him fan out 4 wide in the middle. Ooh, that could get too close for comfort. McDowell got jostled around there.
I don't see any way we don't get another caution here, Mike. This is wild and crazy.
McDowell and Logano, both the yellow cars getting bounced around. Yesterday, Kevin Harvick's son won his first ever go-kart race. Kevin said the pressure was on him today, and look at this.
Well, the pressure's really on him right now, Mike, because Mark Truex Jr. really cut down that lead that last time through 3 and 4. Let's go back and watch this restart.
No push.
Well, this time Brad Keselowski decided to push Kevin Harvick instead of go the inside, and that gave Kevin Harvick the momentum to go to the inside and make it 3 wide. I really thought Truex Jr. and Blaney were going to get back to the outside of Harvick down the back straightaway, but it just didn't happen.
Well, Truex got loose in the middle of the corner, so couldn't mount a charge down the back stretch. And we're coming to 10 to go. Kevin Harvick has won at every track on the circuit, but this one.
Well, he could not have executed a better restart from that 3rd position to try to get that first win here at Kentucky than he did right there.
So there is the not very long list. Yes, the Roval at Charlotte. He's won on the oval, okay? But he's never won in Kentucky. 9 laps away from eclipsing his previous best finish of 5th.
Mike, he just ran the fastest lap that he has run in this race at lap 2:58.
5th place, Kurt Busch, Cole Custer.
Well, and we talked about Kevin Harvick, Rodney Childers trimming that race car out, showing us such great speed, straightaway speed, but it needs clean air. He has that clean air now. What's he going to do with it? Because that car has been struggling further back in the field all day long.
And these two have disappeared from Ryan Blaney and Brad Keselowski. The 2 Penske teammates will be left to fight it out for 3rd. And then Kurt Busch and Cole Custer, you saw a second ago, they're 3.5 back. It's a runaway for Harvick and Truex.
Right down here, turns 3 and 4 is where Kevin's really struggling, and we saw Truex. There he goes to the inside of Kevin Harvick. I think Kevin might be able to hold on to that outside through 1 and 2, but it's 3 and 4 where he's really struggling. Oh, Truex pushing the issue. Not there, though.
Well, Truex wanted to get all 4 tires up into the traction compound. He got 2 up there. That helped. But now he's down on the bottom again.
Oh, caution is out.
Matt Kenseth.
Oh, looks like he got some help from Ryan Newman. He goes around, not all the way around, just gets sideways, then heads down pit road.
They used to be teammates at Roush Fenway. And that's the 2nd spin of the day for Kenseth. The first one at lap 154 brought out the first of the race's cautions for cause. And we've had 4 more here in the last 22 laps.
Whew. Man,
Larry, I'm
catch
taking
your breath
I'm taking your trends book and I'm burning it after today. How's that?
Well, I'm just kind of glad that we're at least having cautions here in the latter part of the race.
Kevin Harvick was 19th when those green flag pit stops started back at lap 208. We've had 4 cautions since then, and he's the leader.
Well, it hasn't fared too well for the leader in our last 2 restarts,
No,
Mike.
That's true. The closer. Out in front with 6 to go. I liked in his interview, Jeff, that you did with him on the pace laps, where he says, you know, as we all know as dads, you're so much prouder of what your kids do than what you can do. And yesterday, his son Keelan won his first ever win in the go-kart. You see Kevin is holding his mask as he poses with the family. That's Piper, their daughter, in the picture as well, with Delana and Keelan. Could the Harvick score the weekend sweep and go for 2 for 2? Stay tuned. Getting set to settle it at Kentucky Speedway. Maybe this time will be the charm and the final restart of this race. In the last 20 or so laps, 4 caution flags and the closer. Kevin Harvick has found his way to the front. Not sure Martin Truex, though, is done with him, though, Jeff.
No, Mike, he's not. And what's going to happen, it all is dictated by what happens in the second row. So you've got Ryan Blaney and Brad Keselowski. They're the pushers. They're the ones that are going to decide, do I push one of these drivers forward, or do I try to split them and make a move just like Kevin Harvick just did from that third position? I don't think this thing is over by any means yet.
But Kevin Harvick got a push from Brad Keselowski in the 5th position. So maybe it's the 3rd row that's the control row here.
That's true, it could be.
Well, we're about to find out. As we're set for what could be the final restart. Is it the 4th or 5th time we've said this could be the final restart? 4 to go right now. Harvick and Truex on the front row. Blaney and Keselowski, row 2. Kurt Busch and Cole Custer, row 3. How about the rookies? Custer in 6th. Christopher Bell in 10th. Tyler Reddick in 13th. 3 rookies in the top 15 right now. Here's some Team 19.
Do the best we can, Clayton. I don't know why you're like stressed out more than I am here. You need to relax. Oh, I'm relaxed. I just, dang, that close supposed to have to lead 2 times.
Spotter Clayton Hughes.
Yeah, Martin's trying to calm down his spotter. Oh my gosh.
Listen, you don't think everybody on this team gets emotionally involved in everything that goes on out there? Absolutely, man. A lot on the line for every one of these guys.
I want to see what the 1 and the 41 do from the 3rd row. Do either of them push somebody into a position to jump out and take the lead?
Mike, I'd watch that 2-car, Brad Keselowski in 4th. This is where this race was won in overtime a year ago. Kurt Busch restarted in the outside of row 2 and 4.
Yeah, I don't think from the 5th position or 6th position you can win it, but from this second row, if Brad Keselowski gets a great start and kind of fakes Kevin Harvick, he could easily be 3 wide as they go into turn 1.
All right, Daniel Suarez got the free pass. 26 lead lap cars. Here we go.
That's going to be Cole Custer to the outside of Brad Keselowski, putting him 3 wide.
He got a push from Matt DiBenedetto.
Can he stay in it in that upper groove? Here comes Kevin Harvick back to the outside of our leader, Martin Truex Jr.
Look at the run that Custer has.
They touch. Here comes Custer.
He had a big run down the straightaway.
How did Martin Truex Jr. get to the outside of the 4-car Kevin Harvick? Here comes Blaney to the inside, 3 wide. Custer to the outside, 4 wide.
White flag waves, 1 to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank. Next flag ends it.
They're banging off one another.
Custer to the lead.
Oh, heavy tire rub on the 4-car Kevin Harvick.
A rookie is going to win Kentucky. Can you believe it?
I never would have believed it till now, Mike.
Custer, Truex, DiBenedetto, Harvick, Blaney.
Wow.
Off the final turn. Rookie Cole Custer wins Kentucky. Can you believe it?
Incredible. Incredible. That last restart, I can't wait to go back and watch this. That's going to put Cole Custer in the All-Star race for Wednesday.
That is all but unbelievable. You saw the stat a moment ago. Eric Jones' 6th place finish, the only time a rookie has finished at this tough racetrack in the top 15.
Can you believe it? That was the best car I've ever driven, Mike. Hey, this place is my track, man. Me and Davin, we got this place figured out.
He certainly has that final restart figured out. Take him 4 wide.
For Gene Haas and Tony Stewart, crew chief Mike Shiplett, Andy Houston, the spotter. What a restart and what a shootout.
I saw Stewart Haas Ford winning this race, Mike, but it wasn't going to be Cole Custer for a long time until that last restart. Big celebration going on here for this young rookie.
So the Quaker State 400 goes to the rookie who last week had his best career finish, 5th at Indianapolis, and only his 2nd career top 10. Now, he's won here before in Xfinity. Now, Cole Custer is a NASCAR Cup Series winner. Jamie.
Cole Custer's entire team running out. In this moment, they can't help themselves but to celebrate. They've got their masks on, but their young rookie driver just took it to victory lane on that final restart. Cole, a rookie, you are a winner in the Cup Series. What just happened on that restart? How good was that car?
Man, we were so good all day. Our car was so good. I mean, obviously, it wasn't the easiest track to pass on, so we're kind of stuck back there, but that was the best car I've ever driven in my life. Everybody at SHR brought an unbelievable car. I mean, Mike and Davin on the box, I mean, that was unbelievable. I mean, Gene, I can't stress enough how thankful I am for him taking a shot at me. It definitely was not the start of the year that we wanted. I mean, we were definitely way off at some places, but this was by far, I mean, unbelievable car. We put it all together, and I just can't thank everybody enough.
Cole, typically for a rookie, it takes about 3 years to get to victory lane. Describe what it's like for a rookie, especially right now. You don't even get practice in these cars.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I mean, it's definitely, you got to kind of adapt as much as you can, and I think we've gotten better and better at that, but it's just unbelievable. I mean, I didn't think that we were coming to win. I mean, now we're going to be in the All-Star race. I don't even have to run the Open, so I don't know. Hopefully I make it to Bristol.
Congratulations. Go celebrate. That team is pumped up. What a finish for Cole Custer, Mike.
The 4 laps he led today are the first laps that he has led in the Cup Series.
When he made a liar out of me too, Mike. I said it couldn't win it from that 3rd row, 5th or 6th. Well, let's go back and see exactly how he ended up getting the lead. Here's the leaders of Truex and Kevin Harvick battling it out, but Cole Custer comes a big run, little contact between Harvick and Truex Jr. Harvick goes up wide. That opens the door for the 19. Now, when they get side by side, and now 3 wide because of Blaney to the inside, that opens up the door for Cole Custer to go to the outside. 4 wide. Watch him slam and bang here.
4 wide for the win.
How lucky was Cole Custer to just clear Mark Truex Jr.'s front bumper right as those other 3 cars were slamming doors. You see Blaney goes over that jump. Oh, I see his car just got out of control as he went over that huge bump down the apron. But see how Cole Custer just clears the 19's front bumper to squeeze by and squeeze into the lead.
Well, he may owe a thank you to Matt DiBenedetto, because it was DiBenedetto from the outside of the 4th row that gave him the shove on the restart that started all this.
Let's watch on board from Brad Keselowski's roof camera. Wow. Whoa. What I love about that, Mike, he never checked up. Brad Keselowski never, I don't think anybody ever checked up through all of that melee.
Let's go back to Jamie.
Martin Truex Jr. brings it home second, led 56 laps today, and he did it all from starting in the back at a place where you guys said it was going to be hard to pass. What a finish, Martin. Take us through that last couple of laps.
Yeah, it was fun, you know. Can't say enough about the guys, you know, and the Auto Owners Camry, everybody back at JGR. Just, you know, went to work this week and tried to kind of get back to what we used to do here. So, you know, just hats off to the guys, James and everybody. I mean, just an unbelievable race car. And, you know, at the end there, just, you know, a bit unlucky losing the lead to Blaney on that first restart by, you know, a couple thousandths. And then again to the 4 when the caution came out, we were side by side. So, yeah, that's just, that's kind of the way these things go sometimes. But really proud of the effort, you know, super fast race car, and feel like we're back in the game now.
Martin Truex ends up 2nd by a 1/4 of a second. Matt DiBenedetto 3rd. Cole Custer, the rookie, wins Kentucky, and he is headed into the All-Star race Wednesday night on FS1. We'll be right back. Cole Custer checking his phone.
He's talking to somebody. Might be talking to Dad there.
Yeah. Folks, this last 2 laps were so incredible. We're going to show it all to you from our aerial coverage.
You see Brad Keselowski checks up right here. That allows the 41 Cole Custer and Matt DiBenedetto giving him a nice push as they go 3 wide into turns 1 and 2. You see those guys up front battling it out. Ryan Blaney not able to get in front of Cole Custer. The 19 of Truex and Harvick make a little bit of contact right there. That's what allows Truex to get to the outside of the 4, but it's this move right here. Blaney to the inside and Cole Custer to the outside.
Here's the moment. 4 wide on the white flag lap.
And Blaney, I didn't even know how he kept that car going straight. Well, I do know he slammed into the 4 car.
Well, when he came up into Harvick, that allowed Custer to scoot away.
Here's on board with Blaney.
Oh. Wow. Boy, that little bit of contact helped put Cole Custer into victory lane. Jamie. With Kevin Harvick.
Kevin Harvick brings it home 4th. And Kevin, I know the comments on the radio, that car was not good for most of this race.
No.
Were the adjustments that good, or were you just on it at the end?
No, we got lucky with that caution and got track position, got a couple good restarts there, and then we're in position to win, you know. Made it through turns 1 and 2, and then Martin just misjudged on the backstretch and kind of got into the back of us, and I had to check up, and the next thing I know, I was, 4 wide on the front straightaway, and then the 12 hit the drain and went back up the racetrack. But just got to thank everybody from Hunt Brothers Pizza, Busch Light, Jimmy John's, everybody from Mobile One, Haas Automation, everybody at Stewart Haas Racing, continuing to bring great cars. And just congratulations to Cole Custer. Obviously, last week he was a big part of our win, and to get to victory lane in your rookie year is a big deal. So really happy for Gene and everybody at Haas Automation, and especially for Cole. He works really hard.
Thank you.
Cole Custer is the first rookie to win in the Cup Series since Chris Buescher in 2016. What a day, and what a finish. How about Matt DiBenedetto, who shoved Custer into a position to challenge for the lead and himself wound up 3rd.
Matt DiBenedetto comes to his worst track on the circuit. I think his average finish here in previous races was 30-something. What a turnaround, Matt. I mean, you've never been with this team here, but finishing 3rd. How strong was that car today?
Oh, Jamie, we had a really, really fast car. That thing was flying. And this was a big race for us, having driving the Menards and Quaker State Ford Mustang in the Quaker State 400. So I had a lot of pressure on me. They wanted me to win pretty bad since it was the title sponsor. But, man, I'll tell you what, with, I think, 7 to go, we were 18th. Because of how we were really good, top 5 all day. Car was super fast, and the way the pit cycle stuff worked out, it trapped us a lap down. And I wish you could hear my audio. I was one pissed off guy with about 7 laps to go. And we made some, my spotter Doug Campbell deserves a lot of credit. Our car was super good. We made some monstrous moves to go around the outside and pass most of the field. So congrats to Cole Custer. I'm glad we could give them the shove of his life to get up there and win that thing. So I'm in a better mood now, Jamie, so that's the good part.
Another top 5 for Matt DiBenedetto. Well done.
Cole Custer, the winner. Martin Truex, Matt DiBenedetto, Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, the top 5. Wednesday, we're at Bristol for Stock Car Racing's All-Star Night. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern with the Open, followed by the All-Star Race at 8:30 Eastern Time right here on FS1. And don't forget NASCAR Race Hub, weeknights. Get all your news from the Hub, 6 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR's annual trip to Kentucky. Saw a couple of spins. Saw a big effort. Saw a lot of side-by-side. Saw a 7-time champ turned around, but in the end, 4 wide with 1 to go, and rookie Cole Custer scoring a surprising victory.